Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and Joe Dehls. And on this episode, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl rematch, the Broncos 4-game win streak, who wins the AFC South, how to fix the Chargers, Jets benching Zach Wilson, the Dolphins' new look defense with Jalen Ramsey, and more. It is now episode 329. Man, these are flying by.
Absolutely. NFL season's flying by, man. We're 11 weeks deep. You know, Broncos started 1-5. All of a sudden, it's playoff time now with the month left of the season.
How about y'all stop playing with my Denver Broncos? How about that, huh? It's just it's a beautiful thing what the NFL is. You can go and you can start 1-5. You can give up 50 points in a game. You could be the worst defense in the league. And in just 4 weeks' time, how the script can change. Right, River Brown? Isn't that crazy? How the NFL is that beautiful?
9-1. Why are you talking
suddenly he's an Eagles fan.
He's always been an Eagles. Respect, bro.
Oh,
I've always been an Eagles fan.
Interesting. It's interesting that you bring up the Eagles. When we talk about the AFC, you only bring up the Buffalo Bills, a team that the Broncos did slay in their 4-game heater. So it is interesting that you suddenly shift over into your...
Slay is hilarious.
I will admit something.
Victory.
It is crazy just how much the NFL season can switch. We go from week 1, me and Dehls and Riv is even over here. We're saying, the Broncos don't look too good. They lose to the Commanders. They're 0-2. We're like, they don't look too good. You're saying it's not time to overreact just yet. They lose by 50 points. They get 70 dropped on them. Oh, now it's tanking for Caleb. Every week I would see a new Drew mock draft of getting Caleb, Drake, May, or Marvin. Now it's about the playoffs. So I think it is pretty, cool to see how things can just change. How you can go from hopeless to hopeful. It's nice.
And that's why the NFL's the greatest organization that there is.
It is. Well, how's your day been, Riv?
I had a great week. Eagles slayed their demons. That was a very strong, very gut-out victory. That game definitely felt like we wasn't going to win, but second half we pulled it out. And then, of course, the Bills whipped the Jets' ass. Needed that one for sure, especially after week 1. Definitely needed that one. Then Brock Purdy, perfect. He's just... I can't even call him Mr. Irrelevant anymore. He's just Mr. Perfect because he's just so fucking...
To be honest, he needs to rock out that nickname for the rest of his career.
He's too humble for that.
It's the greatest oxymoron.
He is extremely humble.
It's the greatest oxymoron in sports right now.
Oh, and don't forget the Browns, man. How could I forget my boys, the Browns? DTR, man.
He did his thing.
He did
4 for 4 to end the game. That was a great one. I had a great week, man. I feel good.
Thanksgiving is coming up soon. It's this Thursday. I mean, I just want to say I'm thankful for you guys, everybody on the show right here. I'm thankful for the audience watching right now. We have 113 viewers in attendance. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button and you're subscribing to the channel because this is going to be a big time show. We're still debating on whether or not recording that second episode this week.
Yeah.
Are we?
Thanksgiving, time for family, friends.
Do your guys' job. How about that?
No Riv topics today. I don't like that.
The first topic of the show is a Riv topic.
It's funny how we don't talk about my Browns. I've been disrespecting.
What Browns topic would you have liked to see on the show?
They're 7-3 with 3 different quarterbacks.
Correct.
I just want a little respect.
Okay.
You all picked Pittsburgh. And you hate Dehls, you disappointed me the most.
Why?
Because you've actually hated Pittsburgh the most out of any person I ever met.
I don't really like
you
Pittsburgh.
picked them.
Steelers win ugly games.
Yeah,
So
I was
did the
expecting
Browns.
an ugly game. I knew it was going to be ugly.
It was an ugly game.
They've been winning.
Yes.
It's a nasty game.
Ass
game.
They don't really have many just cruise to victories, do they? I'm trying to think.
Only week
that
1
Colts game.
Colts wasn't a cool. That was
ugly. Yeah, I mean it was high scoring, but ugly turnovers. The Niners game was ugly. Yeah.
We had somebody in the chat say, yeah, you guys are peaking in audio. Let us know how we sound now because I just put this setting called echo cancellation. Shout out to StreamYard. So we probably are not peaking anymore. Let's get on to the first topic of the show. First topic of the show, we talking about the Eagles beating the Chiefs. The Eagles beat the Chiefs 21-17. Chiefs were up 17-7 at halftime, much like in the Super Bowl when the Eagles were up 27-17 at halftime and kind of roles reversed over here.
Both teams choked.
Both teams did indeed choke in the second half. Now, Riv, give me your take on the Eagles gutting out this win versus the Chiefs.
Well, for starters, this was probably one of the most hyped up matchups of the year. Super Bowl got two teams that just came from the Super Bowl, two teams that are performing at the highest level in their respective conferences, best records in the league. In Arrowhead, a tough place to play, we know. So this game had high implications. Coming into the game, I just felt like to start in the first half, the Eagles looked a little bit out of funk. They looked a little bit lost offensively. The Chiefs were bringing insane pressure, and I feel like the game in the first half was lost in the trenches on both sides for the Eagles. The offensive line couldn't manage. The defensive line couldn't get no pressure on Mahomes. Even if they had an attempt at him, he'd just scramble out. The middle of the field was open for him to run. He was making plays. And I thought, our play calling on offense was a little funky. We ran a lot of QB draws, a lot of screens. Yeah, a lot of screens. It was weird. I guess because it was raining, so you wanted to run the ball a lot. But some of the play calling, like we did, I believe it was like a 3rd and 8 one time. We did a QB draw, and I didn't like that at all. I was like, this was nasty, and I felt like our play calling wasn't great in the first half. Come out the second half, especially we had a turnover, Hurts to whether it was AJ's fault, Jalen's fault. I feel like AJ burned him. So AJ felt like since I burned him, I'm going to keep going straight. Hurts kind of just, I feel like it was both of them. Miscommunication.
He was getting blitzed. Yeah. He was trying to get the ball out.
It was a miscommunication on both sides. But, regardless, going to the second half, you're down 10 points. You even come out a little flat. But the defense in the second half, they played great down the stretch. Offensively, they were able to get it going. Swift started to get it going. Smitty started to get it going. We didn't have a big A.J. Brown game, but this team definitely pulled out in ways you have to win the ugly ones. You have to win the ugly ones. This is a high-powered offense, and sometimes there's going to be games where you can't score high-powered offense. They managed to get a fumble late in the fourth quarter, or was that early? I don't remember what time, but they managed to get a key fumble against Travis Kelce. They managed to get some big-time stops against Mahomes. And Mahomes was overthrown a little bit. They had a couple of drops. Of course, you got to have a little luck in some games, but nonetheless, the Eagles, to me, they looked more prepared for adversity. They looked ready to get in any type of battle, whether it be an ugly battle, a gritty battle, a grind-out battle. They look like they can win in any form. They've shown that this team hasn't been complete all year. It's 1 minute you're giving all the offense, next minute you're getting all the defense. This offense and this defense hasn't been able to click at the same time, but they've showed 9-1. They still going to be able to get you wins. And realistically, we should be 10-0, but who cares about that? Who cares about Jets, that Jets, man? That Jets loss, but definitely a great win. And, even though they did lose in the trenches, which the Eagles are known to be the best at, you got to look at this team and think this is definitely a team primed to make another run. And shout out to the Chiefs, of course. You guys played hard, but we know who the best team in the league is.
When you're talking about you guys, you're just talking to Joel or the Chiefs fans?
What do you mean?
You said you guys.
Should be talking about the Chiefs fans.
Oh, it was
okay.
Joel and
you looked at him, so I just
align him with them.
Of course. Chiefs Kingdom, right?
Mahomes Kingdom.
Right. Mahomes Kingdom.
Yeah,
that is correct. Yeah. This game was a weird one. I actually really enjoyed watching this one because it felt like
so did I.
The Chiefs defense had a lot of answers for the Eagles offense, and that defense is an elite unit. We've seen it week to week now. They face top end offenses, and they have held their own against top end offenses. Looking at the Chiefs, 238 total yards. They went 3 for 11 on third down. I can understand some of the reasoning behind these Brian Johnson QB draws or screen passes. That pass rush was getting after it.
Sure.
So you have to find a way to negate the pass rush somehow. Now it's with the quick game, screen passes. I feel like the Chiefs won this game in the trenches. The defensive line did a great job. Spags dialed up a ton of blitzes and kind of threw off Jalen Hurts' timing throughout the game. But in the second half, when you face the Eagles, all they got to do is make a play. And whenever they make that one explosive play, they can get back in the game. And that was that screen pass to DeAndre Swift, which he took for, I think, 10 to 20 yards. Then the deep bomb to Devontae Smith, which led to a touchdown. All they need is a couple plays. They're always going to be in a game. This team is that elite. And dating back to the last 7 games, the Eagles are 7-0 when Jalen Hurts is down 10-plus points. So I think that speaks to their adversity and how they're overcoming adversity. With that being said, before this game, coming off the bye week, I was interested to see how the Chiefs would come off the bye week and if their offense would find some flow, because it feels like too many times something stalls out their offense, whether it's penalties, whether it's drops, whether it's a mistake by Mahomes.
Love that.
And the panic meter for this team now, if I'm doing a panic meter out of 10 and I'm giving it decibels, I think I'm going to 5. The panic meter is at 5, and the reason why, concerned. And the reason why it's only at 5 when it is halfway is because all these mistakes are fixable. they still have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. When I watch the Chiefs offense, I'm not going, wow, they're getting shut down. I'm going, man, that receiver ran the wrong route. I saw it on 2 instances in the second half. Man, Justin Watson dropped a pass on 3rd down. Man, they're having a great drive in the red zone. Travis Kelce fumbles. Mahomes threw an interception in the first half. I'm looking at all these mistakes.
First half turnovers matter, Riv. Remember that. It really can change the landscape.
It was in the red zone.
Game.
That one definitely matters.
They do. It both matter. The Travis Kelce one and Mahomes interception, both turnovers came from their best 2 players. So I'm not looking at their offense from a schematic standpoint and saying, wow, they're getting shut down. I'm seeing just drops, wrong routes, and inaccuracies. There was a couple times where Mahomes was inaccurate with the ball. Last 3 games, 0 points in the second half. That is something to be concerned about. But with all the things that went wrong for the Chiefs on a last drive, on their last offensive drive, Mahomes on 3rd and long, on 4th and long, you threw a dime to MVS, which he dropped, which could have been the game-winning touchdown. I know the Eagles could have still answered back, but that would have put him in position to take the lead and potentially win the game. Then on 4th and long, Mahomes threw it right on Justin Watson. It's a very tough catch to make. It's tough, but you couldn't ask for a better ball, and that's how that game ended right there. The Chiefs have the most drops in the NFL at 26. Second half, it was punt, fumble, punt, turnover on downs. But like I said, a lot of the times it's just miscommunication. So when you don't generate explosive plays, because the Chiefs last year, their offense went down the field in chunks, but they were able to get explosive plays. This year, they're going down the field methodically, but they're not getting any explosive plays. And if you don't generate any explosives, you can't have mistakes. You can't have a Kelce fumble. You can't have a Mahomes interception. You can't have drops. You can't have receivers running the wrong routes. I'm seeing a lot of chatter about maybe this team should have kept Tyreek Hill, and maybe they should have, but such thing in the NFL exists. It's called the salary cap, and it means you can't keep all your top end players. So you have to remove some players somewhere. Even with Tyreek Hill not being on this team, they won the Super Bowl last year. Patrick Mahomes won MVP. I mean, they accomplished all these things. Let's not act like Tyreek Hill left. And this season right now, what we're seeing was last season. Last season, they were the number 1 ranked offense in the NFL. They went to the Super Bowl. Mahomes had a hobbled ankle. So even with Tyreek Hill's absence, they still won. Will they go back to back? That's still to be determined. But what I know is that this is the best defense that Mahomes has had with the Chiefs. This is an elite level unit, and all these problems on offense are fixable. The one major complaint I have is I think Brett Veach is taking Mahomes for granted. And I think when general managers have great players, they take the great players for granted and they don't surround them with more weapons. Coming into the season after losing Juju, a 900-yard receiver, you don't replace him with any veteran presence. You draft Rashee Rice, who's been good, but he's not what Juju was last year. You need somebody that can win versus man-to-man in the slot. They don't have that. I want Brett Veach to fix this receiver room, much like he fixed the offensive line in 2021 when he drafted Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, when they signed Joe Tooney. This Chiefs offense, they don't need Tyreek Hill. They don't need a top-end guy. They can get a Jacoby Myers, and we'll be looking at them like a top team again, a top offense, I should say, again. Brett Veach needs to sign some quality players and not put Mahomes out there with a receiver room of MVS, Sky Moore, Rashee Rice, and Justin Watson. At this point, he's doing a disservice to Mahomes and Travis Kelce. I think he's playing through injury, so he doesn't look quite as explosive, and that's hurting him, and that's hurting this offense. But this team, they're still a contender in the AFC. They're still a top team in the AFC. I mean, they had these offensive issues versus the Dolphins. They still managed to beat them because Tua threw a duck at the end of the game. I mean, you don't trust him to do nothing when it matters most. So because of that, I still trust the Chiefs. The panic meter is a bit higher, but I still trust them.
Before I go, I just wanted to, I saw this and I screenshot it because I did want to bring it up. From Elliot Parks, he mentioned this. Last night was the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career he was shut out in the second half at home and lost. Only the third time in 58 home games that Mahomes hasn't scored a single point in the second half. Shout out to them Eagles, man. Them fucking boys fly.
We talked about that in the fantasy reaction last night, that coming off the bye, we were expecting both teams to just show out offensively, especially the Chiefs, who had been struggling. But it's a welcome sign if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, because you've seen the offense really throughout the year, even though it's had some bumps here and there, be pretty consistent, be able to score points. Really, these last 3 weeks before the bye, they're putting up 30 points, 28 against Dallas. They've been able to score, but it's been the defense that's really been holding them back. And the fact that they held Kansas City to 17 points, to 0 points in the second half, regardless of what should have happened, what could have happened, I think that's a huge sign, because these next few weeks for Philly is gonna get tough. You got the Niners coming up, you got Dallas coming up. But to talk about Kansas City real quick, because Joel, you made a good point that these mistakes are fixable, but they also don't have the talent, I don't think, to make this just the most explosive offense that we've seen in the Patrick Mahomes era. And to the Chiefs' credit, we saw last year they didn't need the most explosive offense, but they needed a competent offense. And what we're seeing right now with a possible hobbled Travis Kelce, he rolled his ankle again last night, is that there's nobody on this offense outside of Kelce you can really trust. I mean, Pacheco was great. He's a good runner, but when you have Patrick Mahomes, it's not like you really want to rely on Pacheco game in and game out when you have such a great talent at quarterback. And while Brett Veach has done a great job, like you mentioned, rebuilding the offensive line, getting some gems defensively, Snead, Bolton, so on, you have to look at all of the draft capital and contracts he gave out to the receivers, like Sky Moore, second-round pick, looks like a bust. Kadarius Toney, train a third-round pick. He made some great plays in the Super Bowl, but game-to-game, wildly inconsistent. MVS giving him a $33 million contract. He hasn't panned out. And then letting Juju walk. Now, Juju has had some injury history. And of course, he's not doing great in New England. But again, it's New England. They're having a terrible season. So I agree with you. Brett Veach needs to rebuild this offensive weapons group, this skill group. And it's a great draft, next season to be able to do that. But talk about Philly real quick. I have a couple of gems here about my guy, Jalen Hurts, because he's just special. Jalen Hurts has 13 consecutive wins against teams with winning records, breaking a tie with your guy, Peyton Manning, and Vinny Testaverde for the most in NFL history.
Vinny Testaverde mentioned that.
What a go. Since the stat was first tracked in 1991, Hurts is the only quarterback with 5 straight victories when his team trails by double digits. He is currently at 7 straight wins. He is 26-2 in his last 28 starts. We could sit here and talk about how great this team is. We could talk about the competition, but you go back to, it does not matter what quarterback. You could talk about Peyton, Brady, Patrick Mahomes, 26-2 in your last 28 starts. Maybe something we never see again. This Philly team is well-rounded. They have, especially offensively, the offensive line is elite, but don't get it twisted. Jalen Hurts is the engine of this team. He is the reason they are 26-2 in the last 20. I don't want to hear about this offensive line or AJ Brown. Jalen Hurts is making this team, I wouldn't say, what they are, but he's elevating this team. And we all knew this, but I think there were some questions maybe at the beginning of the season too, when he struggled, had some turnovers, but there should be no question. Right now, he's playing at a top 5 level, even though he's coming off probably one of his worst games against Kansas City. But overall, when it mattered most, he made the game-winning drive. He had that big throw to Smitty. Of course, gets the tush push, the most unstoppable play in football to win them the game. Big win going into Arrowhead, and wouldn't be surprised if we saw this matchup again in February.
Same result, by the way.
Are you guys tush push or brotherly shove?
Brotherly shove. That's what Kelce said it should be called brotherly shove, so you're right.
Whatever Kelce says, that's what it should be called.
It's because it's tush.
That's the
why.
guy.
Stand on what Kelce's saying. We stand on business.
Now, coming into this game, there were some things that we did know. We knew that the Philadelphia Eagles offense had been the main reason why they had the record that they did. We understood that this defense, specifically their secondary, was a liability and a big reason why people weren't all the way bought in on the Philadelphia Eagles. The secondary had been a question. Now, looking at the Kansas City Chiefs, we've seen their offense struggle, but we've seen this defense be one of the elite units in the National Football League. But coming into the game, we thought that Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the game, one of the best quarterbacks that we've ever seen in our lifetimes, was going to be able to, coming off a bye, be able to do whatever he wanted against this Philadelphia Eagles defense. Because again, what we knew was that this Philadelphia Eagles defense, specifically their secondary, was not good. Now, in the first half, they go first drive, punt the ball. Then they go down the field, 75 yards, score a touchdown. Justin Watson gets into the end zone, which should have been negated on a hold. But when you are the Kansas City Chiefs, you essentially get away with some stuff. But hey, that's NFL officiating. Let's not just say it's a Chiefs thing, although it seems to be a week-to-week thing. You're able to go get a kick a field goal before the half. Oh, you do score a touchdown with Travis Kelce. We see the Eagles offense, which has been money all season long, struggle the most that we've seen. You go into the second half, and like I say, week in, week out, it's a tale of two halves in the National Football League. One half, you could be the best football team that we've ever seen. In the second half, you can go and you can score 0 points for the third consecutive game in a row. When you are the Kansas City Chiefs, that's unacceptable. The 32nd ranked offense in the second half, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, 32nd. That's inexcusable. But again, there was things that we knew, but we shouldn't have expected that Patrick Mahomes can come into the second half versus the Philadelphia Eagles and put up 0. You're too primetime. You're too great. You're the best that we've ever seen. It can't be the case. But from what we've seen from this offense throughout the entirety of the year and mostly of these last 4 games, we've seen the offense really struggle in the second half. And we're starting to really appreciate what Eric Bieniemy meant to this Kansas City offense. We see what's going on over there in Washington. They're doing it with a far less talented quarterback and Sam Howell. And Sam Howell's putting up top 10 statistical numbers. He's been that great this year statistically.
Sam Howell mentioned. Bang.
But that also goes hand in hand with Eric Bieniemy. And that's the reason why I have to mention Sam Howell, because that's his quarterback over there in Washington. Now, I'm not calling Patrick Mahomes and Eric Bieniemy merchant. That'd be disrespectful to one of the greatest ever.
That'd be dumb.
But again, what we can understand is what Eric Bieniemy meant to this Kansas City Chiefs offense. And it's being highlighted every single week that the Kansas City Chiefs struggle offensively. But to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, because we don't need to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs anymore, specifically their offense, we could talk about their defense because the defense has been fun to watch. No doubt about it. You mentioned Snead, you mentioned Bolton. You can talk about how awesome Trent McDuffie is, and he makes a play on the quarterback, how awesome that he's been. Chris Jones, he was wreaking havoc on Kelce pretty much all game long, and Kelce had some great moments, but Chris Jones is one of the most dominant defensive linemen that there are in the sport right now. This Kansas City Chiefs defense is the reason that the Chiefs are as good as they are this year in 2023. But the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Dolphins, going up against the Chiefs, two what should be really good offenses, limited both of them to just 17 points. And to not allow the Kansas City Chiefs to score in the second half while you're on the road, that speaks volumes to the Philadelphia Eagles. And yes, Jalen Hurts did not have himself a good ball game by any means. Both these quarterbacks played very subpar football, but the quarterback on the Philadelphia Eagles made the big-time play to win the game. And that throw to Devontae Smith was right on the money, maybe slightly underthrown if I'm going to be fair, because if he throws that in stride, that's a touchdown. But it didn't matter because when you get on that 1 yard line, you can guarantee 100% they are scoring the football. The brotherly shove is unstoppable and one of the most dominant plays in sports history, not just in the NFL. But again, let's give credit to where it's due. The Philadelphia Eagles have solidified themselves as the best team in football and can do so even when their star quarterback, a top 5 quarterback playing at a top 2 level right now in the National Football League, is not at his best and clearly not at 100% because we see that he's kind of not moving the same way that we've seen Jalen Hurts move.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was kind of the epitome for both of these team seasons where the Chiefs lose because of the receivers and drops and mistakes. Like you mentioned, leading the league in drop passes. And then for the Eagles, it's another game where it's ugly. Offensively, they're not exactly clicking on all cylinders. I thought the second half was probably a bit better. Obviously they, ended up scoring more points. But even still, like having that big drive, being able to get something going, DeAndre Swift having that play, and then of course Smitty, it's kind of what the Eagles have been doing all season. And we've been waiting for them to finally click. And it felt like they clicked, a few weeks before the bye when they were scoring against Commanders, Cowboys, and whoever else they played during that stretch. But I will say that just because we saw one, bad half, or even if you want to say bad game from Jalen Hurts, you have to give the Chiefs credit because this defense is elite. So I'm not looking at this Eagles game as a regression offensively. I'm just giving credit to the Chiefs. You're going to have to go on the road in Arrowhead. Andy Reid off a bye, I think, is the most winning coach in NFL history as well. Of course, he's offensively, but Spags is, one of the best defensive coaches as well. So I'm not looking too deep into this Eagles, bit of a struggle on offense. You had A.J. Brown, too, who had his worst game by far of his season. One catch for 8 yards, 4 yards, whatever it was. And that miscommunication, you mentioned it was an all-out blitz. So they mentioned on the broadcast as well where Hurts knows that A.J. Brown is running, I think, assuming it was going to be an in route. And A.J. was like, well, like you said, Rip, I'm going to beat him. I'm just going to go deep.
I think
some
he didn't realize he
miscommunication
would
there.
have beat him so bad.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
just like,
So Hurts was just trying like, let me get the ball out, pick up the first down, live to play another down. And AJ was like, oh, I got him beat bad. We could score a touchdown here. So even the interception, I can't really blame that. Like, that's a terrible decision. It was just a miscommunication.
And I feel like the difference between the Super Bowl matchup and this matchup defensively, the Chiefs defense versus the Eagles offense, is that in the Super Bowl defensively, the Chiefs had to allocate more bodies in the run game because they didn't trust their front four to get after it consistently. Where in this one, Spags sent a lot of different exotic blitz looks, but he was able to drop more bodies into coverage and really narrow down those passing lanes. I thought the Chiefs defense had a fantastic showing. And I mean, the Eagles offense didn't look all that good, but ultimately, I think this Chiefs defense is elite, and Spags is one of the best defensive coordinators in the entire NFL. Nick Bolton didn't play in this game, but Drew Tranquil stepped up. You have Leo Chanel stepping up. They lined him up as an edge rusher, but they would drop him back so they would have more bodies and coverage. Trent McDuffie, one of the best run stoppers. He has excellent feel on screen passes. He blew up a couple of screens. And L'Jarius Sneed is one of the best corners in the league. I think the Chiefs defense is only getting better. It's the offense that has to catch up at this point. And that used to be the opposite in this Chiefs era. But even with that being said, like I think it's disingenuous to say the Chiefs offense got shut down because Travis Kelce fumbled in the red zone. That would have been 3 points. And then MVS dropped what would have been a game-winning touchdown. The same way you talk about Jalen Hurts dropping a dime to Devontae Smith.
I said that it was underthrown slightly.
Nice. But if Devontae Smith had dropped the ball, we're saying,
but again,
of course it's Smitty.
It can't be that we're gonna say it's Smitty when you just went on your whole monologue, which you was spot on. We're talking about Justin Watson. We're talking about Sky Moore. We're talking about Rashee Rice, who, like you said, has been good. We're talking about MVS. My point is, these are not high level guys.
Smitty first round pick, Heisman. You know this.
Smitty,
of course, Smitty's better.
The same way we praise Patrick Mahomes.
Smitty catches that MVS pass pretty easily,
but
again, doesn't fall down. Doesn't like that's.
He probably falls down, but still catches it. He'll catch it no matter what.
You know, maybe he might have fallen down just because he had to stretch out a little bit. Definitely,
it fell into the end zone though.
For sure.
Yeah, it was in the bucket.
But again, the way you praised Mahomes last year for being able to do it without Tyreek Hill, and deservedly so, he was phenomenal, is the same way that you need to keep that same energy this year where he's still not playing with the same level of guys. You're seeing Travis Kelce also not playing at 100%. That's pretty evident. But he still should be able to do a job. 3 games in a row that we're seeing Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs offense not score in the second half.
The job is being done. He made a perfect pass to MVS. The job is being done. He is playing his role. MVS also
in the red zone.
MVS is not Devontae Smith in no world in no universe. He's still an NFL receiver who should catch a wide open pass. And this is the same player that
he wouldn't start on a lot of teams.
He last year versus the Cincinnati Bengals, who was the star of that game?
He had 100 yards. Mahomes. Exactly. So I'm not going to look at MVS and say, oh, he's incapable of catching that. I've seen MVS make plays.
He has
a drop problem. Career, Yes, he does, but that's a play that he got to make. Just because it's Devontae Smith versus MVS does not mean I'm saying MVS shouldn't make that play, because maybe if it was 2 defenders on MVS or even one of them and he's draped all over him, I'm like, yeah, he doesn't have the skill to do that, but it's wide open. He's made that catch his entire career. He's dropped some, he's caught a lot of other ones. He has. And that's exactly what he is. And that's why last year, when the Chiefs went into the season with this group of receivers, I said, you still have players who can take the top off the defense. And then you have Juju who can win underneath. Right now, they just don't have anybody that can win underneath. And Travis Kelce, with his decrease in athleticism because of the injury, he's not able to win as consistently. And Travis Kelce in this game had a couple crucial drops as well with the fumble.
So then we not, I don't want to say bashed, but we talked about MVS dropping the ball, but their star player, their best player in their team, Travis Kelce, also dropping the ball, fumbling in the red zone.
For the most part, he had the touchdown, but other than that, he was pretty quiet.
Which is like, we know he's banged up, but
I think it's the injury, because he's had games over the season, like Broncos, he had over 100 yards in the first half, their first game. Like, he's had moments where it's like, oh, that's Travis Kelce, he looks normal, but like it seems like these rolling an ankle multiple times throughout the season. He does not look like himself.
He just needs Taylor Swift back in the stadium.
That could also
That's
help.
what he
Wait,
does.
how long?
The
How
Chiefs
long
are
is
Taylor
her?
Swift merchants.
How long is her tour going on for?
So
I have no idea.
Yeah, she won't be
Maybe
back for a
ends
while.
soon. We need her back. In
Listen,
the
man,
stadium.
just the Eagles did what they needed to do, and
They did.
I've
That's what
heard
they've done all
I've heard
season long.
a shit ton of noise about the Ravens being the best in the league, the Chiefs being the best in the league. And people just kept forgetting about this team, and the team.
And honestly,
beat
how
Mahomes.
we sit right now, we're going to talk about contenders in the AFC, so I don't want to spoil it. But I'm looking at the NFC, and I'm like, I trust 3-4
But-
teams there more than there's these teams in the AFC.
And that's being generous. I don't. This is the Eagles division. This is the Eagles conference to lose. You
the,
would
the
be.
Niners are right there.
The Niners are there.
The Niners are right there.
But outside of the
Right
Niners,
there, I don't know.
You would be surprised if the Eagles don't make the Super Bowl. Like if they don't make it, you'd be like, wow.
I
what the
still
fuck
think
happened?
Niners Eagles is a toss-up game.
Sure. Outside of that, though, it's like everybody else the Eagles should beat.
I would be surprised if the Niners or Eagles didn't make the Super Bowl. I think
Yes.
one of those two teams
I
got to
agree.
make it.
I agree.
With the AFC, it's a little bit more open.
The
than
AFC, yeah, I feel like there's probably 4 or 5 teams that can do it.
The
it's not-
AFC's wide open.
Yeah,
that. 4 or 5. I don't know about 4 or 5.
It's the Chiefs. It's the Ravens. And then who's you think the Jaguars are in that? You think the Dolphins are in that?
like
I don't think the
the
Jaguars
Dolphins
are in it.
maybe,
The
Bills maybe.
Dolphins, me? Those other teams are so like I got to see more. They're
But
too
I have
inconsistent.
questions about Baltimore. I have questions about Kansas City. It's like any given week, Miami could go out there and, well, I mean, I trust their defense.
But how many
their
teams
offense
do you
is so
trust in the AFC to go in Arrowhead and win? That's the thing.
The list is
It's
small,
listed,
They
but
might
it ain't
not-
4
they
or
might
5.
have to go.
They might not
Baltimore
have to.
might have
Ravens,
home field
Raven has
advantage.
the Ravens have number 1 seed right now.
But either way, you still got to go to Arrowhead. If Chiefs are
If they-
But the
if
other
they have number
teams,
1
yes.
seed.
yeah, if the Chiefs,
100%,
that's what I'm saying. How many
yes.
teams do you trust to go in the Arrowhead or Baltimore? I don't think there's 3 or 4 you trust to go in there and beat them
Yeah, that's
on
fair.
the road.
Right now, there's no team you trust. I mean, I think
Like Jacksonville, I don't trust to go to Arrowhead and win.
Nick Wright put out this tweet. He put out
The
a
record,
tweet.
yeah, I seen
He
that.
put out the tweet of the playoff win-loss record of every
him
current
muted.
quarterback in the AFC and NFC. In the AFC, Tua doesn't have a playoff win.
Yeah.
Lamar is
Well, he
1 and
doesn't
2 in
have
the
a playoff
playoffs.
game.
Trevor Lawrence is 1 and 1 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this just speaks to the lack of experience
For sure,
playing in a
yeah.
moment like this.
Josh
Nobody
Allen.
on the Browns has a playoff win, of course, because Dorian Thomas Robinson is now
Yeah.
the quarterback. On the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence 1 and 1. The Bills, Josh Allen has, I
He's
think, 3 or 4 wins.
3 and
I'm
2
gonna
or
say 3.
2 and 3, something like
Yeah,
that.
like there's not a ton of quarterbacks that have a lot of experience in this type of
There
moment.
is one quarterback that has a lot of experience in
Russ.
that moment. Russell Wilson.
They're not gonna make it that far.
I know you hope so.
No, I know for a fact.
Oh, do you know?
Yes.
Just like you knew that
I
we'd
know
be
for
5
a
and 5 right
fact.
now.
You didn't know you'd be 5.
Exactly my point. That's exactly my point.
I might have not
You
known
can't
you would have
expect
been
the
5 and
expected
5.
with the Broncos.
You guys have a lot has to happen for you guys to make the playoffs. A lot.
Yes,
Not a lot.
Yeah, you have to
That's
win
not
and
true.
The
hope
schedule
other
isn't-
teams
the
lose.
We just
schedule
have
isn't
to keep
brutal.
winning. Our
It's
our
not
schedule
brutal.
really is
It's not
fine.
brutal,
but you
but-
have to hope other teams lose too. Aren't you like 10th
We're-
place?
We're 5 and 5. We're 2 games out of the top spot in our division.
But what are you in the wild card spot? You're like
I think we're right there we're just tied with teams that have 5 wins.
because the
Right now, I
the
think we
Steelers
sit
are
at
in the
8.
wild card. They're at 6 wins.
Mhm.
The Browns are in the wild card. They're at 7
7.
wins. They're 7 and 3. And the Texans are in the wild card. That's 6
I'll
and
open the
4.
standings right now.
there are 4 teams in the AFC currently that are 7 and 3. Rank these teams from best to worst: Chiefs, Jaguars, Browns, and Dolphins.
Chiefs, Jaguars, Browns, and Dolphins. Chiefs, I would have 1. I
I'm
would have the
going
Dolphins 2,
Okay.
Jaguars 3, Browns 4.
I agree. Perfect order.
What do you think, Riff? You think the Browns are being disrespected?
Are the Browns better than the Jags?
You can make an argument.
There is an argument.
You
to
can
be
you
made.
can you can
The
legitimately
offensive ceiling for the
Oh, you
Browns
keep
is just
talking about
so low.
You're so offensive.
He's right.
merchant.
Though. He is. He
You're
is.
so
But
But
he's right.
with all due
offensive
respect,
merchant.
you're going to have to score more than
And you have to
17
get a
points
stop.
to win games.
Defense wins championships.
I guess so.
I'm saying
Yeah.
there's an
Are you taking the
argument.
Browns over the Jaguars then, Joe?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm
How-
just saying.
I'm saying
That's
that.
the same.
Listen,
Rip,
all
you're
I'm
going to have
saying-
to
no,
go.
no, wait,
you're going to need
wait.
Dorian Thompson
assuming.
Robinson going to have
You're
to beat
assuming.
Mahomes
You're
or
assuming.
Lamar
You're
or
assuming.
any
Don't
of
say
these
Tua
guys.
like he's this big time guy.
But to a clear, like Tua and DTR are on 2 different universes.
But
Let
do
me
you
ask you a
think
question.
that the Dolphins offense, how many points did they score against the Browns defense?
They could put up 20 points.
you act
They
like
could put
the
up 20
Jaguars'
and- yeah.
offense is this
And that's
game-breaking
it.
offense.
Game's
though.
over.
yeah,
Because
but
how many points are the Browns scoring on the Dolphins?
You think 20? That's tough. That defensive line is.
I just have
is a
I have
juggernaut.
very
Let me-
very
okay.
little faith in the Browns offense.
Listen, once again, I didn't say Brown. I'm saying there's an argument that the Browns are
So
better
who'd you
than the
take?
So would you
Jaguars.
put them
That's
over?
what I asked.
I would take the Browns.
over the Jacks.
Yes. I don't. The Jaguars' offense hasn't been this unstoppable machine. This hasn't been this movable, consistent offense on a week by. Now, if you talk about Miami, that's a different thing. They're an offense that can, if they get on fire, you can't stop them. But then you also look on the Cleveland's defensive side. This is a defense that can stop almost any offense in the league. 100%. And if they can keep a game under the 16 and 20s, they can win a game. So I'm not going to just sit here and automatically because they don't have an offense. Because I understand DTR is a rookie. You don't expect much out of him.
You need just a little something. I'm not saying you got to be the number one offensive football Super Bowl, but I need a little something.
This is the same team that's, they clawed out wins against Baltimore. They beat the Niners. They beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is
some backups too.
Yeah, I understand. 38 points to the Indianapolis Colts.
Miami hasn't beaten a good team all year.
Everyone's due for a bad game.
The Chargers aren't good.
They're 4-6 right now. They are.
They just lost the Packers.
Oh yeah, they lost the 500.
Actually, the Cleveland Browns record is way better than the Dolphins record.
Like just outside of just the record being
like strength of schedule, yes.
Just you're going off their wins.
The Raiders gave the Dolphins some trouble.
It did. It was 13-20.
Game.
I was not expecting
Raiders
that.
defense has been playing 13. A lot better than what.
Tua had a fumble. Tua had an interception. Tua almost had another interception in the second half. He did not.
If you're talking about if we're talking about upset alerts, Cleveland should definitely be in an upset alert bucket.
Aiden O'Connell had 3 picks.
Yeah,
3 bad ones.
He's not
good.
Dehls
guy. I'm saying. He's a rookie.
All I said is he's going to start. I never said it was going to be great.
Well, yeah, they should be. I think Cleveland should be in an upset. If they lose, I wouldn't be surprised. If they win, it's all right. Well,
so you would take them over the Jags?
I think it's an argument.
You'd have Chiefs Dolphins though. Or is that
yes. I would say Chiefs Dolphins. Jags. I genuinely feel like the Jags and the Browns are interchangeable. I don't think the Jaguars have proved that they're this much better than the Cleveland Browns.
I like what I saw from
the
Jags.
You don't think the Jaguars have any argument with the Dolphins? You think the Dolphins are just that much better?
I think the Dolphins are right there, but I understand the offense conversation. They have the most explosive offense. So I understand they can go
against
on
the terrible teams.
Yeah, listen, I respect Miami better than you do. You know what I'm saying?
Against the Eagles, what do they do? Against the Chiefs, what do they do? I mean, against the top end competition, what did the offense do?
You know what's funny? Against
so then why don't you have Cleveland over Miami?
I honestly think that if they match up in the playoffs, that's an upset pick. Because I don't. The Dolphins cannot match up with that defensive line. And if you get to Tua with that defensive line, game's over.
Let me ask you guys a question. This season, Patrick Mahomes, what did he do versus the Miami Dolphins?
He was pretty mid.
I actually forgot.
What did Patrick Mahomes do against Philadelphia?
Rather mid.
We're not going to criticize.
Drop game winning touchdown.
We're not going to criticize.
Interception to red zone.
I will say though Miami has
Byard,
a chance. Baby. Miami has a chance to get the number 1 seed in the AFC. The Ravens have 1 game on them, but you look at the rest of the season schedule for Miami. They play the Jets twice, the Commanders, Titans, and the last 3 games, it's Dallas, Baltimore, Buffalo. Those are 3 games you're looking at. But outside of that, I mean, you're looking at probably guaranteed 11 wins. So if you're able to get at least one of them, you're sitting at 12-5. Like you're probably a game away from getting the number 1 seed. If they get the number 1 seed, and everything runs through Miami instead of them having to go to Baltimore, to Arrowhead, that completely changes the conversation.
That sounds like a lot of non-battle testing games.
You're not wrong.
Buffalo and Dallas.
Well, Baltimore they'll lose. Dallas will probably lose.
Buffalo might be.
They'll lose to Buffalo again because that's Buffalo hungry, needing a win.
That's in Miami.
It's in Miami. Yes,
it doesn't.
Dallas,
and it depends. If Buffalo don't come out this stretch with with close to that record. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Buffalo's still out.
They have to beat Dallas. They play the Chiefs. They play the Eagles this week. Buffalo got to beat the Eagles first.
Nah, that ain't happening.
Yeah, but Buffalo got to beat the Eagles first.
You don't think the Bills could go on a little bit of a run?
Listen,
you know that Sean McDermott recently he said that
you're putting me in a tough position.
Sean McDermott said that when the Bills went to the AFC Championship in 2021, they started the season off 6-5.
Did they really?
Yes.
That's interesting. Okay, I love that. But listen, Josh is amazing.
Right, so what do you think?
I think against the Eagles, they can beat the Eagles.
I asked you a question about the Bills long term though, because that's what you're.
I think they can make a run. If they this remaining schedule, if they rack off those wins and go into the playoffs with them, we have to understand something. That offense with Josh Allen is always going to be explosive. It's always going to be a top end offense. The defense has lost key pieces, but that defense is not bottom barrel of the league. That defense can still hold its own. Okay. That defense can still get stops. So
when you're playing the Jets, anything can look this good.
That's not true at all.
That's
good. The Jets have locked up 90% of their
I'm talking about defense. So the Bills defense going up against the Jets offense.
Oh, that's what he's talking about.
I don't think the
I
Bills
was talking about
defense
the Bills
is good just off the Jets game. I mean, whenever defense faces Jets, I don't take too much into account.
That's what you should.
I
do.
don't.
Correct.
But I mean, the Broncos didn't have this world beater offensive game against the Bills.
We're not that great of an offense. In the
You
grand
guys
scheme
are an
of things.
average
We're
offense.
Slightly above average.
But what I'm saying is that the Bills defense is average. And if you have an elite offense and an average defense, you can win.
I take the Bills if they went to Jacksonville. I take the Bills in the playoffs.
I think the Bills. I was even victim of this of ruling them out too early. I don't think it's the time yet.
No, we're clowning for having them at 10.
I think right now, like
10 wins.
No, 10 in my power rankings.
the Eagles are favored to beat the Bills.
They're gonna win.
I
We're
don't.
favored every week
I
of the year,
would
buddy.
not. I would not be shocked
Yeah,
if the Bills
I'm not
win that
surprised
game.
you say this. You've picked the Eagles to lose 4 times this year.
All right, you picked the Dolphins to go undefeated this year.
Wait,
And you've
what?
lost each time.
What are you talking
How
about?
many games have you picked the Dolphins to lose?
Actually, that's a great question.
That is
How
a
many?
good
How many?
question.
I'll be honest, probably never.
You probably, I mean,
We're
we're all
listen,
victim. We're all
valid.
victim of that.
That's your team. They're great.
That's
I get it.
We're all victim of that. I haven't picked the.
I haven't
The Eagles
picked
to
against.
lose
I
yet.
picked against Baltimore once, and they won.
But the Bills, they can still match up with the top teams in the
Pick against the
NFL.
Broncos, like if that's what you want to do. Also, like
Picked against the Jets.
I haven't picked against them in this 4-game heater. That's for sure. I've been right there.
Bills and Cowboys. The Bills can beat the Cowboys.
That's a
The
tough game.
Bills
for them.
can beat this Chiefs team. Like the Bills will have a chance against all the teams they're facing down the stretch.
I'm not counting them out. It's just hard. I mean, like if they give me if that Bills offense clicks like they did against the Jets defense all for the rest of the year, then it's a promise because the offense hasn't been clicking. But that's a lot to ask. To go beat Dallas, then you got to go beat the Eagles.
There's
Got to
also
beat
no
the
pressure
Chiefs.
when you're playing the Jets, though. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
score 14, 17 points. Like, all right, we're
But like
chilling.
for them, every game is a pressure. Even that Jets game is pressure.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, obviously going up defensively against one of the best units in the league, but you know that
A unit
margin
that's
for
probably
error.
owned you for like
With the
last
way
2,
that
3
we've
years.
seen the Bills play football this season, 3-3 is best case scenario to close out the season.
Was that's 9-8.
they got the Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Chargers, Pats, Dolphins.
3-3 is best case scenario.
Pats,
That's a W.
Chargers, I think it's
Chargers is W.
You
So
have to
it's
sneak
really
away one
true.
with
3-3 is not best case
Miami's
scenario.
4-2. Miami's a toss up.
I think 3-3 is floor for them.
Like I think they
Floor?
could beat KC.
Yes.
They could beat Cowboys, and they could beat.
You're
Miami.
telling me you look at this schedule and you say their ceiling best case scenario is 3 wins.
I don't
they're
think
not
ceiling.
beating the
crazy.
Eagles. They're not beating the Eagles.
I would be
You're
picking
cooking.
Philly there.
The Chiefs are beating the Bills.
I would probably be taking the Chiefs, but that's a toss-up game.
That is a toss up. The Eagles is a toss up one too.
Dallas, I still feel very good that they will win that game. Dallas has been
Dallas-
playing some
That's a
amazing
60-40
football.
game.
Beat a
for
good
me.
team challenge.
That's also a toss up. You naming toss ups. Those are 3 toss ups.
The Eagles are
No,
not a toss up.
what do you mean? I just named the best team in football right now in the Philadelphia Eagles, arguably the best team in the AFC. In the
Buffalo
in
has
the-
beaten Kansas City and Arrowhead before
They have.
last year.
last year,
Yeah, they have done that. So
but it was a different team.
The Eagles, as
I
great,
I mean,
as,
the Kansas offense isn't the same.
as great as the Eagles been, I don't think they're going to finish the season 16-1.
They'll probably.
we'll-
They're
we'll
going to
find
have
it.
some losses
See,
in
like
between
that's
there.
just an easier statement to say.
What
Like,
do you-
yeah,
no,
they
because-
shouldn't
okay,
go 6.
I
But
think
you,
their
you
floor
look
is
at
3
their,
and
if you look
3.
at their remaining schedule, there are some losses there. Like
They have
I'm,
a tough. Yeah,
like,
they have a tough
they
stretch.
have these are toss up games. They have went 4-0 in this tough stretch of games versus Dallas.
I don't think it was sweet
versus
Dallas.
the Chiefs versus the Dolphins. They have went 4-0, but those were all still toss up games. The Dolphins and Eagles game was a couple plays away from being a very close matchup. This Chiefs matchup was an MVS drop away from them having to go down the field and score. So this Eagles team, they have been great. They are the best team in the NFL, but they are not unbeatable. And Josh Allen versus that secondary still is not that great. Josh Allen can have a 300-yard, 3-touchdown
What
performance
was it? Patriots,
against the Eagles,
Chargers,
and I would
Patriots,
not be
Chargers,
shocked.
Dolphins to end the season.
and what was the 3-4? Chiefs.
It's Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys.
Whew. Look. Hey, if Josh would do all this, MVP.
If Josh does all that,
If he goes like 5-1, no,
Philly.
no,
first
Philly,
needs
yeah. But if he goes 5-1 in that, then he's playing like lights out.
After all the talk,
at this point, this for the
Doesn't matter.
season, and I think sometimes you got to take those teams with their backs against the wall. That's when they play the best. That's the wake up call. They fire Ken Dorsey. It's a wake up call, and Josh Allen is way too good to just rule him out against all these teams. That's crazy.
I'm with
Josh
you.
Allen is way too good for
They're
that.
not beating Philly, bro. You could just throw that in the
It's a
garbage.
possibility.
Stop.
It's a possibility.
When you
They
pick
got
them, it's
Jalen
not.
Hurts over them.
I'll be
It's a
honest. It's
possibility.
not happening.
Respect Jalen Hurts.
You're gonna pick the Bills?
respect, I will pick the Bills.
Thank God.
I think the Bills are
Eagles
in
win.
desperation
Eagles
mode.
win.
I
There we
think
go.
the Bills are in desperation mode.
They are. We're just locking.
That
mode.
game's in Philly.
I think you guys are locked in.
It's in Philly. You heard
Yeah.
him?
Yes. It
Meek
doesn't
Mill
matter.
is there.
Josh Allen. Shout out Meek Mill. Josh Allen throws in the
That's my
corner all the
dog.
time
Listen, I want Josh to get 400 yards in the L.
against the Eagles.
Yes.
have some
Okay.
pride.
we won.
You want
did
the
say
you
L.
want the defense to look elite against Josh Allen.
That means I gotta hear it slander for another week. I can't take no more of that shit, man. It's so bad.
Jasper Montgomery goes at their peak, DeAndre Hopkins or Devontae Adams.
That's a good question.
Damn.
I'm gonna go DeAndre Hopkins.
I'm going DeAndre Hopkins.
I'm also going D-Hop.
Yeah.
That's a tough question.
I think I lean Tay.
His entire career,
D-Hop is a
majority, I should say, he had Aaron Rodgers. Not that that's a knock against him, of course. DeAndre Hopkins didn't get his
D-Hop
best
is the
quarterback.
king
until,
of
year
no
7.
quarterback, no problem.
Correct.
Erooks goes, Jordan Love is looking good and is stacking 3 good performances. Just watch out. And Jaden Reed and Romeo Doubs are dogs. Joel, we need to stop with the glazing of Patrick Mahomes. He got exposed. I love the Jordan Love shout out and the Patrick Mahomes slight. You know, this is the thing with Jordan Love. He has stacked up 3 good performances in a row. The Packers are not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs just yet.
4-6.
They're 4-6. And with this NFC
Anything's
wide
possible.
open, with it being wide open, I think if they make the playoffs, that would be
You know
such
you're
a
cooked when you
great
say
turnaround.
mathematically.
They're 4-6.
I mean,
They're
yeah,
cooked, bro.
they're a game.
Their schedule.
I
is
don't
not
think
tough
they'll
at
do
all.
it, but
Their
to
schedule.
be
is not
fair,
tough.
nobody's NFC schedule outside of Philly is
Yeah.
gonna be that tough.
Yeah, their schedule. They have the
That's it.
Lions Thursday. I favor the Lions and the Chiefs. Those are 2 very tough
Oh,
games.
they're losing both of those. Okay,
Yes.
they're cooked.
4-8.
That's
But then,
4-8.
but then
They
they
need to
got
win
the,
out.
then they got the Giants. Then they
Okay.
got the Bucks. Then
The
they got
Bucks
the,
aren't. That's a 50-50.
Then they got the Panthers.
Okay.
Then they got the Vikings and the Bears.
It's a 50-50. The Bears. All right.
I think Giants, Panthers, Bears. They should all be favored. Pretty.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Tommy
Vikings
DeVito.
toss up. Bucks a toss up.
Yes.
Hey, Tyrod is gonna be back for that Giants game? When they play Giants? How
I
many
don't
weeks?
know, man.
3 weeks.
They need to
He could be
continue to
eligible.
play Tommy
Tommy
DeVito.
DeVito, 3 touchdown passes. The last time Daniel Jones did that, I don't know when, but
Has
talking
he
about
ever done that?
Tyrod, DeVito.
His debut in the NFL, he scored 4 touchdowns.
Who, Daniel Jones?
Yes.
That was 4
That
years
was a
ago.
very long time
I'm just
ago.
saying, has he ever done that? I just gave you the
No,
answer.
I said, when's the last time he's done
I was talking to Riv.
No, I did ask. Has
Okay.
he ever done that for sure?
that?
'Cause I didn't know.
Versus the Buccaneers. That was a great game.
Star was born that day. It was fire.
Bro died immediately. That Star shit is dead, bro. That shit is
Shit
dead.
flamed out.
But Heroics mentioned something good.
for the season. You gotta say that.
He just got surgery. Best of luck.
Shout out, yeah, best of luck to that. He'll be
Jaden
send him
Reed
Tim back.
Is currently the best Packers wide receiver.
Jaden Reed's nice.
Jaden Reed every week has been impressing
Jaden
me.
Reed is nice.
And Dontavian Wicks. He made the biggest play of the game, bouncing off a tackler, running 30 yards of yak that set up the Dobbs touchdown. I think right now the Packers' best 2 receivers are Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks.
Is
And
Jaden
that's
Reed?
saying
Dobbs
something.
has 7 touchdowns. This
Dobbs
year.
is solid.
Now Dobbs is good, but he don't run routes better than Reed or Dontavian
Does
Wicks.
Reed
Now,
clear
whenever
Quentin Johnson?
Reed does clear Quentin
It's
Johnson.
sad, but it's true.
Jaden Reed does clear him. Deco goes, Riv, I know you've seen Purdy with that perfect passer rating, and shout out pick a side.
What's his name?
Deco.
Deco.
Deco, my boy Fendi. I did see that. Shout out to you, gang member. I was
Aiden
supposed to shout somebody out,
Ramirez
too.
goes, I've been a depressed fan of the Chargers since the LT days. The Chargers are a toxic ex that betrays my trust again and again, but I can't break up with them because I believe in their potential. I am in hell, fellas.
Hey, you're talking half the group here is Jets fans. So
It's the
right
San
there with
Diego
you.
ambassador pick a side right here, Aiden Ramirez.
That's a
Shout
fact.
out-
Shout out to
Aiden.
the
Listen,
San-
brighter
San
days are
Diego
ahead.
ambassador.
And for you, later on, we got a How to Fix the Chargers segment, which will be
Absolutely.
very interesting. Pick a side meme. Santos sent a super sticker, $3. Shout out to
Shout out
Santos
Santos.
for sending that super sticker. Now, next topic.
Wait.
You got to shout somebody out, Riv?
I do. Where is he? Don't worry, I found him.
Are you scrolling far back as hell?
Yeah,
Was
told
it
me-
Discord or?
Nah, he told me to shout him out on Twitter, but I thought he meant like on Twitter. So I was like, shout out to you, gang. And then he was like, nah, I meant on the pod. So I was like, oh, my fault. I'm gonna do it. Can't find him. You go ahead and talk.
How irresponsible is it? Come on.
Well,
Ray.
when
Now I was going to talk, and then, you interrupted me.
Go.
These are some things
Did
you
you
gotta
tweet it out?
prepare
Go look
for,
at your
Riv.
tweets.
Broncos topic. They're on a 4-game win streak.
Eater.
This is very simple. Hype or real? Are they hype or are they real? Drew, what are the Broncos?
First off, let's just appreciate what we're watching with the Denver Broncos right now. Started off 1-5. I already started the show with this. Started off 1-5, lost the game.
Found it. Shout out to Colin Buchanan. Colin Buck 1230.
Shout out
That's his
Colin,
at.
man.
Probably Buchanan.
Buchanan, thank you. Yo, Colin Buck
Colin.
1230. That's his at. Go follow him. Shout out to you, my boy. He is a Golden State fan. Oh, we're here. That's why. Shout out to you, my boy. All right, lock in on Denver.
I think you should lock in on Denver.
You're 4-6.
Because no, we're actually 5-5. Read a book. And then on top of it, you told me we wouldn't win 6 games.
I tried telling you, Riv.
It was one of the worst bets that I've seen because here we are, 4 games in a row.
I was gloating about 5-5. What the fuck are we doing here?
I'm only gloating
Shit is
about 5-5
embarrassing.
because not only did you say
we
we're on
1-4 or 1-5. You could gloat about 5.
Are you making the playoffs?
not only did you say that we were one of the worst teams in the league, you
Were.
also said we were unwatchable.
You were.
You also said Russell Wilson was washed.
He was.
Okay, but again, it didn't take a rocket scientist to realize very quickly after we beat the Chiefs, after we beat the Packers, that we weren't that same old team. But you had to tune in. But you just spoke reckless. That's on you, Riv, and I got no remorse for that. Now let's talk about this.
Reckless.
Let's talk about this 4-game heater where Russell Wilson has been answering the naysayers in these 4-game win streak. He has a 74% completion percentage, 7 touchdowns, 0 INTs, of course, 4-0 record. Now, this season, he has 7 games of over 100 passer rating, 3 in a row. He has been one of the main reasons and one of the bright spots of this team where he's able to do a job. Right now, the league leader in fourth quarter comebacks, 4 game-winning drives, I should say, excuse me. He's been able to come in and do a job. Sean Payton, right? Early in the season, 1-5. We're talking about one of the worst coaches in the game. We're talking about someone who should be fired. We're allowing Nathaniel Hackett to get some laughs in because the Jets beat us. But now we're looking at a team and the New York Jets that are the worst third down conversion team in league history at 22.9%.
We're good on 4th down. We went like 4 or 5 on Bills 4th down.
And here we are now where Sean Payton has put himself in Coach of the Year candidacy.
Oh,
because we go and we have the worst defense statistically in the league. But now over the last 4 weeks, right now we rank number 1 in terms of takeaways. Right now we're a top 10 team in terms of EPA per play on the defensive side of the ball. Jaquan McMillan, Fabian Moreau, Joel, shout out for you acknowledging Fabian and, of course, acknowledging Jaquan McMillan in his own right. Jaquan, since, let me say, on this heater of ours, the last 5 games, 2 INTs, 2 fumble recoveries, 1 forced fumble, 3 pass breakups, and 5 tackles for losses. He has been one of the best defensive players for the Broncos, but also in the league these last 4 games. He has been a game changer for us. It can't be understated how much he means to the Broncos. Like I mentioned, we went in these 4 games. We ranked number 1 in takeaways. We've taken away the ball 4 times against the Chiefs, 5 times against the Bills, 3 times against Dobbs and the Minnesota Vikings. And now we put ourselves in a position where we're right now number 2 in takeaways. This isn't the 32nd ranked defense. That's being skewed by the Dolphins game where we allowed a historic amount of points, a historic amount of yards.
That you celebrated.
No, I
You
did not.
celebrated that game.
Did
He
I?
was hyped when the Dolphins scored 70 on the Broncos.
Here's the thing, Joel. The thing that really bothers
Was
me.
he not hyped?
I think he was.
He was hyped.
Because of Tua.
He was like, let's go
The
Tua.
thing that really bothers me the most when you say shit like that is that it's a blatant lie. and really why it bothers me is because when I call you out, I'm going to call you out on some facts. When you call me out, it can't be a lie.
Bro, you
if that's,
have a tweet saying, I hope the Dolphins kick our ass. You
well,
have a tweet.
I wanted,
And they kicked your ass.
I
They
wanted
did
us to
They
lose
dogged
so
ya.
we could be in position to win. We lost to the Raiders and we lost to the Commanders. At the time, 2 of the worst teams in football. So, of course, I wasn't going to feel good going up against the Dolphins, who were one of the best offenses at the time, were amazing against the Chargers, pulled up a great W against New England. At a time, I wanted us to lose for sure. I did not want us to get embarrassed. I wanted us to
70 points.
You wanted
is
to lose
crazy.
pretty handily, though. You
I
were
don't
like,
think by 50.
again,
hope-
handedly is interesting because
I don't think he asked for
because
70.
that's historic.
I don't know if he has
Nuts,
70.
bro.
Again, because the next time we were on this podcast, I wasn't wearing Tua. I wasn't
You would
wearing
take
anything
28-10.
Dolphins. I wore my Broncos gear with pride after
You did.
losing by 50
I respect
points.
that.
So again, call me out on something accurate. Now, let's also talk about being accurate. Right now, the Broncos are the hottest team in the league. We are tied right now for the longest win streak alongside the
real hottest team in
Philadelphia
the league, for
Eagles.
sure, yeah.
No, that's the best team in the league, the
Also
Philadelphia Eagles. But again, look at the win streak, the Chiefs, the Bills, your Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love, and the Minnesota Vikings, your Minnesota Vikings as well.
Hot.
2 teams. Hey, shout out. The way that you treat me with the NFC East is the way we have to treat you with the NFC North.
J-Love.
Credit to you there.
Yo, you're nuts, bro.
But what the Broncos have been able to do on this 4-game heater has been great. Are they real? That's tough. Our defense has been real. That's for sure. I do worry about our offense going up against higher powered defenses with the idea that It's a struggle for us to get points going up against Minnesota Vikings, who played some really good football. We kicked 5 field goals, and we scored a game-winning touchdown, but that was really off 2 incredible plays by Cortland Sutton and a lot of yak from Samaje Perine. Again, Russ has been able to be one of the best game managers in football. He's been able to execute at a very high level, just doing his job, because that's all you can ask. But are we real? I believe our defense is real. I don't know if we're a real threat for anything big. But you know what? I'm going to enjoy some wins, because all I knew last season was misery. We paid $240 million to a quarterback that was one of the worst last year.
Yeah,
we traded 3. We trade still one of the worst.
Still one of the worst contracts. Yes.
Oh no, I didn't
Absolutely.
say contract.
Yeah,
But
yes.
quarterbacks.
No, he's quarterback. No, he leveled up.
Definitely not one of the worst quarterbacks.
He's middle of the pack now. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
He's put himself back into the conversations where he should have been.
And
Again, where being one of the top 15. Exactly, which is what he was and has been throughout the majority of his career.
Nah, he's not top 15.
I would say 50.
There's some quarterbacks that are injured, so maybe he might,
like 18, 19.
injure. He might,
top 20.
But I
Wiggle his way
understand
into it.
hating, because if my team was the worst offense in football,
Whoa.
and listen, I'll say this to you,
Quarterbacks
Joel.
hurts.
I can't feel any type of remorse to you either, because you've been on your high horse talking shit on Sean Payton too.
I'll do that the day I die.
And that's on you, because hey,
Don't
I
talk
think
shit about my team.
you
What am I
who
supposed to do?
you who have been at the forefront of offensive coach win games, go look at
I do like
Robert
that
Saleh,
bucket.
right? I appreciate it. And unfortunately, Sean Payton doesn't like this hat.
Really?
He doesn't, ironically enough. But you who preaches offense,
I do.
offense, you have a defensive head coach who,
I love
let's
Saleh.
give credit. Saleh's awesome. But no doubt about it, Sean Payton has been the better head coach of the two this
I
season.
didn't beat us.
The turnaround.
He's always been a better coach.
Who?
Sean Payton.
Oh, for sure. But again, that wasn't the conversation early in the season. We're talking about Sean Payton being washed, talking about him being one of the worst head coaches in the game.
I had to get my
But
licks
again, why the NFL is so beautiful is because you can have the way that you start not be the way that you're looked at the end.
You know
All
why
right.
the NFL is so
Joel,
beautiful.
can I
Riv,
talk,
Riv,
please?
you could go, but I just want to say this real quick. Dehls, in all of our years as being Jets fans, how
Yes.
many times have we had an offense that has been terrible?
basically every year except 2015.
Comments don't move me. We've been trash. This is just the worst we've ever been,
Correct.
which is why I'm disappointed. Even
Yeah,
when
I'd be disappointed too.
even with how bad Nathaniel Hackett has been, Zach Wilson statistically is having his best career year of his entire career.
Really?
Which shows how bad. Yes, which shows how bad he is.
That's not a compliment. It's not a compliment.
I thought he's having the worst. I feel like.
Our season was tainted with Aaron Rodgers' injury. Aaron Rodgers doesn't go down. We're a far different team. Let's cut to the chase. Let's cut the
Could've been,
crap.
man.
Let's cut the lip service. You want to give credit to the Broncos, and you should. They're playing well. They're on a 4-game win streak. But Riv, answer the question. Hyper real.
This is some bullshit. I'll be honest. This is like,
Riv, you have to say this.
listen, hyper real in terms of what they've been playing good.
Are they hype or are they real? Broncos 4-game
Playoff
win
team.
streak.
No, and listen, give credit where credit is due. They proved me wrong. They won 4 straight games. Congratulations. They got a nice little win streak. They're the hottest team in the league. They've been playing great defensively. Russell Wilson has been a game manager. This is not why they fucking brought Russell Wilson in. You didn't bring Russell Wilson in or Sean Payton in to be giggling and a kiki king about a 4-game win streak in the middle of the year. This is not what you brought them in here for. You brought them in here to be a playoff team. You brought them in here to change the division up. You brought them in here to actually make a difference. You being excited about winning 4 games in the middle of the year sounds cool, because I understand over the last couple of years it hasn't been fun for you.
You started 1-5.
I understand, but at the same time, you had an opportunity to go into a draft class and get another quarterback, or to have a big time pick and get Marvin Harris Jr. Now you're setting yourself up to where you're probably going to have a pick later, which I don't know what you're going to do with that one. You could still get a receiver, but
It's a good draft class.
for sure. But like, what's your direction with winning all these games? Like, what's the, like, you brought, like I said, you brought Russell Wilson and you gave him a bag. You brought Sean Payton in. You were expected to make the playoffs. So if you
Still
don't make
can.
the playoffs again, then what is all this excitement about?
The excitement is we traded 3 first-round picks for both of these guys. We're on a 5-game win streak. We were the worst statistical defense in the league. Last year, we were the worst offense in the league. Right now, we are slightly above offense. And the last 4 weeks, we're a top 10 defense. That's what's to be excited
You didn't
about.
answer my question.
Well, if you were to listen,
I said, if you don't make the playoffs, what are you excited for in the end?
You just added that stipulation.
No, that's what I
right
said.
there. No, but again, if you don't make the playoffs, I'm with you. There's nothing to be excited about. But
So
in the
what are we
grand scheme,
doing?
but we can make the playoffs.
Are you hopeful for the Broncos?
Of course I am.
Are you excited
You
right
just
now?
you don't even think you're gonna
Absolutely.
make
Are
the
you
playoffs.
so excited and hopeful to the point that you'd go double or nothing with Riv a bet stipulation of making a playoff.
Do you know how goofy you
Ooh.
sound?
Oh,
I like double or nothing.
No,
is
I
that
like
a-
double or nothing.
I didn't say anything.
No. I'm talking to Joel because you are so flip flop. It makes
What do you
me
mean?
sick
I'm
to my
asking. Is that not
stomach.
is that not a valid bet?
Let me
I
ask you.
like it.
So
Hey, real
Oh,
men
man.
would do that.
I'm you real men because you know you're gonna lose.
I didn't even make the bet.
No, you did.
Well, no, the
I'm
five,
sorry,
the
you know,
five,
you don't
no,
make the
because
double
the
or
5-6
nothing.
that
win
was
is
a
cooked.
dumb bet.
The 5-6
I didn't make
win
the
is
double
cooked.
or nothing bet.
You're the dummy that came to me with this. Oh, they won't
Says
win
the dummy
6
excited
games.
about 4 games in the middle
Four
of the
games
year.
in a row. We started 1-5. The Detroit Lions
And you
had a
still might
similar
not make the
story last year.
playoffs.
Again, but
You
there's still
traded
positives
3
to take
first.
away
You traded
from it.
3
And we
picks,
still
and you
have our
gave
picks.
Russ a back
We
to be
have our pick
made.
for the rest
That's
of the
embarrassing.
He's not mid this year. He's far
What is
from
he?
it. He has the second best touchdown interception ratio in the
He's-
league
he's
right
a
now.
dink and dunk
The stats
machine.
paints a pretty picture, but he
Because
is
again, our
he is a check
receivers
down
are not
He's a check
consistently
down
winning.
dink and dunk
Cortland-
machine.
Cortland Sutton's getting ultimate praise because he's a great jump ball receiver, a great one-on-one receiver. But in the grand scheme of things, we're not
he's a top
scheming
15
up.
quarterback.
Right now, yes.
Russ? He's a top 15 quarterback.
Statistically, he's been a top 10 quarterback this year, but that's not what he is. He's a top 15 quarterback
Okay.
right now.
So you have a top 15 quarterback. You have Sean Payton, who is heralded as one of
He's
the best
done an
coaches of our
amazing
generation.
job.
He's done an amazing job.
He has to do a job with this Denver offense.
He does.
It's not just prime
The
Drew Brees
talent's
offense
not
where he's
there,
going to throw
bro.
5,000 yards.
My point. What like if you don't make the like what is the end goal for you guys?
We can
The
get
playoffs.
better this offseason by still competing this year. This is a good draft class. There are receivers to be had.
Mhm.
We can still do that with a pick, even if we end up being middle of the pack.
Okay.
It's not like we make the playoffs, we lose in the first round. We just missed the playoffs going 8-9 and we're doomed. That's not the case. We saw with the Lions last year.
Well, the Lions are
Lions-
younger.
They also Jared Goff wasn't paying as this like franchise guy when they
But he's
traded
still
him.
getting paid a bunch.
But now,
Not as much as Russ.
but they
though,
also
to be
got
fair.
multiple firsts to take on Goff's contract. They didn't give away multiple firsts.
that's a true point.
And
As
wasn't
well.
Jameer Gibbs like a top 15 pick?
He was, 12, I think. 11, 12. This Broncos team, listen, I think it's a little bit of both. I don't think this 4-game win streak is just like, oh, just a flash in the pan. I think they're obviously better than they were the first month of the season. First month of the season, this was one of the worst teams in football. This was on pace to be one of the worst defenses ever. But I mentioned this on the last football podcast. The way they're winning, I don't think sustainable. 3 games in a row. The turnovers are great, right? 12 takeaways in the last 3 games. Amazing. The defense is flying around. They have juice. They have confidence. But it just feels unlikely that you're going to consistently get 4 turnovers a game. I mean, you're going to be on pace for over 60 in the season. It's just something that's probably not likely. And even in these games where you're forcing all these turnovers and you are winning, you're still winning in like kind of dramatic, insane fashion, right? You had the game against Buffalo where Sutton and Russ make damn near play of the year, where credit to them, a great play, but something that's repeatable week after week. Another great play this week too. Then the Buffalo game, of course, you have the underthrown PI call. You get the 12-man on the field, get a bit of a break. And this Minnesota game wasn't as ridiculous as the Buffalo game because the Buffalo game, it's like a 1 in 1,000 chance. But you're still outgained by over 100 yards. You're 2 of 12 on third down, lose time possession 25-34. So most situations when you have those stats, end up being that way, you don't win those games. But situationally, Russ has been pretty decent. I tweeted it out. The play before they scored the touchdown, they went right down the field and it was just check down, check down, check down, check down. But hey, the defense is going to guard it. What are you supposed to do? I do think there is a bit of a rift here between what we're talking about, where there has to be a conversation about the Broncos long term, because you don't go out and trade all of these picks, give Russ this insane contract, trade a 1st and 2nd round pick for Sean Payton just to be a 9-win team every season. And although you can get a wide receiver in the draft, it does feel like the Broncos ceiling is probably limited with Russ at quarterback with the contract he's getting. If he wasn't on a, at the time record-breaking type of deal, and he was on a manageable contract where you could make more moves around the team, I think there'd be some more positivity. But when you trade all of the assets and give him the contract you did, you're expecting him to play at a top 10 level almost week in and week out.
But
And
Joel, what else do you want us to do on this team to get better?
Well, I think that's the issue, is that it's going to be hard to make dramatic changes to this team that's going to put you in Super Bowl contention.
But I'm asking you, what is it that you think we need? Because defensively, we've been one of the better units the last 4 weeks going up against high-powered offenses.
If I'm giving a quarterback top 5 money, I want him to be
So you're saying it's just Russell Wilson.
It's not that it's just Russell Wilson. It's that he's, like you said, he's doing a job. But to be a game manager making that much money just historically hasn't proven to work out.
But we have had multiple conversations talking about this Broncos receiving core. We're talking about Jerry Jeudy, who gets slandered on this show constantly, and at points deservedly so. He's been deemingly a bust for what he was supposed to be. We talk about Cortland Sutton, and even still, where I want to praise him because that's what he deserves. Number 2 right now in touchdowns in the National Football League.
Javonte's been good
We
too.
understand that the separation on both of these guys, there's a lack thereof.
Yes.
We're missing a Tim Patrick in this situation where he was a great separator for us
And Marvin Mims
in our own right. Marvin Mims does not get nearly the opportunity that he deserves. That also comes down to coaching and putting him in on the field, period. But again, what are we supposed to do? How can we get better from what you want us to do?
That's why
we
I think
go and get receivers.
That's why I think there's a rift in the conversation, because I don't think there's a ton you can do to dramatically change the outlook of the team. But I also think you have every right to be excited. Like you're coming off one of the worst head coaching hires.
The topic
ever.
was formulated so it's that we
pick a side.
We can the topic was formulated so that we can say the Broncos 4-game win streak has been impressive, but let's shit on them because we know in the grand scheme of things that there are teams that you trust more.
Not unless you think they make the playoffs.
But again, I understand what I'm watching. I love my team very much so. It'll be very difficult for us to make the playoffs.
I have your upcoming schedule here if we want to go.
And it's the thing with that upcoming schedule that he's going to share. Of course, I've gone over it already. I love our matchups. We can win almost every one of these games.
Outside of
So you're 5-5 right now.
Yes,
they have. So next week, DTR and the Browns at home.
That's a tough game where, again, the Browns defense going up against us, I would be ecstatic.
Go ahead,
if we
Dinky
could
Dunk
score
Merchant. Try that shit over here.
I mean, the Steelers basically did that too, and they almost won the game.
The Steelers offense is dog shit.
10 points.
And they almost won the game.
They
Our
did
offense
almost
is
win
better
the
than
game.
them.
Your offense is what?
Better than the Steelers.
Correct.
Oh, yes.
Our offense is better than yours.
Who's
The
yours?
Cleveland Browns.
That's also correct. With DTR, I don't
Your
trust that.
defense is just drastically better than ours.
So they have DCR this week, which probably a 50-50 game. I maybe slightly.
It is 50-50.
I probably
but you
slightly
could
lean
lean
the
the
Broncos.
That's
at
a
home.
50-50
you
game?
could. Here's the thing. You could lean Browns.
Which way would
because
you?
they have
I would
some-
lean more Broncos.
Broncos
than
have
Browns.
Really?
amazing.
Yes.
Over Cleveland?
It's just the
True or
offense,
false?
and you're on
True
the road.
or false? You talk about the Browns having amazing wins. Do the Broncos not have amazing wins?
You have Chiefs and Bills, right?
I mean, two
Yeah.
of the best teams in the AFC.
It's just
Your
like
favorite fan, Russell, just said the Broncos will
He's a
go.
Browns guy.
The Broncos will go 0-4 the next 4 games, then finish the season 3-0.
Okay, can we just get through the schedule? So we have the Browns this upcoming week. Then they're at Houston, who's been one of the hottest teams, at the Chargers, at Detroit. That's a pretty tough stretch.
That
Detroit is probably the one game we're looking at. This is probably going to be an L. But the last 3 games, home to New England, home to the Chargers, and then at the Raiders.
I'm just so good. Like, Dehls, at what point does Cleveland need to get a favorite for you? Like, at what point do
I
they
said
have
it's
to?
a 50-50 game. There's not going to be a lot of games
They've
Cleveland's
beaten the
favored in.
Ravens. They've beaten the Bengals. They've beaten the Steelers. And you still, by no stretch of
You have
imagination,
Dorian Thompson
they had
Robinson at
PJ
quarterback.
Walker and they beat the
He's not
Niners.
terrible.
And you play that game 10 times over. The
You're not
Niners
gonna
win
play
9
that,
times.
You're not going to play that game 10 times.
No, but you're going to have another 6 games coming up where are you going
For
to be
sure.
able to get all of these drops on the offense side of the ball where you're going to get those advantages? You're going to be able to get
But you
some
could say
calls
that.
against
You could say that about Denver.
So let me
You
ask you a
could.
question.
That's why it's a
Riv.
50-50
Riv, what
game.
happens when the Broncos beat the Browns this week? What happens?
It would be an upset.
Like you barely scrap by
But
the
why
Steelers.
would it be an upset?
The Steelers are the record is one thing, but we know this team isn't that good.
So let me get. So wait. So they barely scrapped by the Steelers. They beat the Ravens. They beat the Bengals. They've beaten good teams. They've shown you time and time again that regardless of who's playing
The Ravens
quarterback,
game was also
this
Deshaun Watson.
this defense is going to give you a chance every single game,
Correct.
and you still think after you just mentioned them winning is not sustainable
But
the way
Riv,
they're
you
doing
just said it.
You
Their
still think
defense is going to give them a chance in every game. That means
Their
every game
defense is giving
because of their
wins.
defense, they have a shot. Because if they had an
Their-
average
their defense is giving
they
them
would be
wins.
screwed.
The Broncos defense the last 4 weeks have given us wins.
and the
They've
Browns
gotten the same
defense
amount
has
of
given them
turnovers.
wins all year. This
Okay.
has been an all year
the
thing.
both of these
NFL
teams are
is
gonna be
not
50-50,
just
bro.
from week 1 to
I mean,
week 17.
If you think listen, if you think it's 50-50,
Let's keep going through the schedule.
Okay.
You think the Browns is a win?
I definitely think we can win that game. The same way I felt
Just
like
for
we
this-
could beat the Bills, the same way I thought that we could beat the Chiefs, we
Mhm.
could win this game.
For the record standpoint, though, you think they win? Or
We can win this game.
Okay, so
6-5.
at Houston.
That's tough. They've been playing great, but our defense, has been great. CJ's seemingly been at another level. I'll respect the Texans. They've been playing great
6-6.
ball.
Holy shit.
At the Chargers. So you play the Chargers twice.
We should
to end
beat
the
them.
season.
We should beat them.
7-6.
At Detroit.
That's probably a loss.
7-7.
Home to New England.
That's a win.
8-7.
Home to the Chargers.
Beating them twice seems unlikely.
tough.
We were at the Chargers the first
Yes.
game, correct? So let's swap it.
8 and
we
8.
win this game.
And then last game is at the Raiders.
The thing is, I can't feel confident about the Raiders. We've lost
Texans.
8. We've lost 8 in a row to them. You know, it's one of those that you just can't say that it's a win. But this is the year of breaking streaks. We can win this game for sure.
I think you'll be around 8-9 wins. I'm with you.
So right now it's 9 and 8. You have the finishing 9 and 8.
Where would you
See,
have them?
and
Rib?
that's the issue with you. It's
His
like
smirk is really like he's
What do you
insane,
mean?
bro.
no,
I'm
because
just
I'm
asking
sure it would.
questions.
I'm sure it would.
Where would you
break-
have them? Because I'm assuming you would take the Browns, so that's
Yes.
8-9. You gave them the L to Houston. You have them
Would you-
splitting. Everything else seems valid, except maybe the Raiders game. So I think realistically, you probably have them at 8-9 instead of 9 and 8.
Either 7 or 8, something like that. I
That's
didn't
the
listen
shit
to
that
it.
bothers me. It's like, listen, I'm still a realistic Broncos fan. It's again, this question was formulated to find a way to shit on the Broncos. That's what it was. But what we should do is credit what they've been able to do over these last 4 weeks. They
Good
went
job.
from the worst defense in the league to a top 10 defense over the last 4 weeks.
I don't understand
make the
how
topic list.
I don't understand how it's shit on the Broncos.
Because you went
think
and
it's
you have a
hyper real.
TikTok out that's out right now.
Do you?
I think our defense is real. Our defense is real.
Are the Broncos hyper real? The 4-game win streak is simple.
Is 9 and 8 going to get us in the playoffs? I don't know.
What if
There's
you
a
guys?
chance, I'll
you,
be
you don't.
honest.
So you don't. Listen,
This week.
I
don't
think we'll
think-
go 9 and 8. Do I think that 9 and 8 is good enough to get us in the playoffs? I don't know.
I mean, it's not-
do
tiebreaker.
y'all have zero chance against the Lions? The Lions defense has been getting torched.
Their secondary has been getting torched.
You don't think that could come down to one possession?
It could.
He's
You don't
trying
think
to
you don't
convince
think
you
you
so
can beat
bad.
the
Tough.
Texans?
We could.
You
we could
had a
beat the
loss to
Texans.
them.
We could beat the
So I'm
Texans,
saying
but it's the Texans' offense has been
Electric.
amazing.
So if some of those games go your way, you could definitely be a 10-win
Arizona,
team.
they stink fest.
If you are bought in on the Broncos on this 4-game win streak where you beat the Bills and the Chiefs, you can beat all these teams remaining on your schedule.
So then we should go undefeated rest of the season. Am I supposed to say
he's
that?
cooking up some nasty shit.
Is that what I'm supposed to
Yeah.
say?
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
he
trying
just
to
wants
get
me
you-
to come up
yeah,
here and
he's
be
trying to get
stupid.
you
I'm just saying,
He
you
wants me to come up on this microphone
you-
and sound like an idiot.
can you win 5
That's
of the
not
next
what I
team?
do. I try to stay honest.
Can you win 5 of the
Especially
next
because-
7? Can you win 5 of the next 7?
I don't know.
He wants
The
you to do it.
Broncos-
I'd say you do it. It's
What
your
I've
team.
known from the Broncos last 7, well, we're on a 4-game heater right now. I'm going to appreciate what's going on right now. Anything with the future, I don't know. Because what I do know is that we're calling Detroit frauds with 4 minutes left in the game against the Bears, and they just score 14 points like it's nothing and win that game.
Drew.
Houston has been one of the best offenses in football, not just over, like, bro, they've been one of the best offenses in football the last 3 weeks of the
Yes.
season. How am I supposed to feel confident against
Let
them?
me ask y'all a question. This is for everybody to answer. This is based off the information you've laid out throughout this segment. Riv, if your team had a quarterback playing at a top 10 level, you had a top 10 defense the last 4 weeks, and
You know what
not
I'm
only
saying.
that-
I said top 15.
I don't think he said
no,
top.
you,
ten.
no,
you said
just
top
you
10
said top
statistically.
10 level.
You said top 10
you said
statistically.
he's top
Statistically,
15.
He's
You said
been
he's playing top
number
10 level
2.
statistically.
He's been number 2
Yes.
in touchdown to interception
Yeah, he said
ratio.
statistically.
He's played as almost as clean as any quarterback can, but you understand the talent that's on our offense.
told me-
Chicago just almost beat
There's
Detroit.
there's an
by the way.
obvious
I
ceiling with the
know.
Broncos.
Drew, you told me Russ is top 15. He's playing at a top 10 statistical level. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Top 10, top 15. You have a quarterback that's playing at a top 15 level. You have a defense that's playing at a top 10 level. You have what you said, a coach of the year candidate in
Yeah,
Sean
Coach of the Year
Payne
is low.
right now.
He is,
If
though.
you got
he's
the odds-
he's like a top 10
if you got
odds to
if you
win.
got those 3
That still
working
means
for you, can you not win 5 of the next 7?
I would say yes, me personally.
Can you not win 5 of the next 7?
But the schedule we just named.
Houston did
It's
not
not-
play
How many
well
are we
against
winning?
Arizona.
How many are we winning then? Because you just had an entire TikTok that you said,
Nah, he's
"Oh, the
beating
four-
us so
the
crazy.
4-game runs
I
all
think-
cute. They're
I
not
think-
making the playoffs."
I think you guys
though."
win.
So,
I think
you're
you guys
talking
go,
the talk.
I think you guys go 4-3. I think you guys go 4-3.
So then what's the
So 9 and
what
8.
are you talking about in that TikTok? You just made content to make content.
what do you mean? It's
Hey,
what do you
I'm
mean?
with that.
What do you
Fuck
mean?
it, go up there
What
and
do you
lie.
mean? If you win
You
four-
said our
if-
run's
if-
nothing,
if
right?
you-
You
if
said
you-
it's not. It's
If you go 4-3, you are
So
9
we
and 8
hyper
and miss
real.
the playoffs.
that's what I said.
Yes,
It's
but you don't think you can get one more win and make the playoffs?
Oh my god! Sure, one more win, maybe. But
You
again,
telling me all these good things about the Broncos, and you not willing to say, you know what? We fucking make it.
yeah, God forbid, guy comes on a podcast, talks nicely about his favorite team,
He just, bro, did he not just hype
Fucking
up?
guy comes up here and talks nicely about Zach Wilson. What the fuck are we supposed to do?
Did he not just hype up the Broncos? You just said you're the hottest team in the league.
He did say that.
We are.
He tried to
But
come.
I'm
He tried to
still
come back
being
there with the Eagles,
realistic.
and you said, "Nah, it's the Broncos."
No,
You did
I
say- you
said
did- you did-
that's
you did-
not what I said.
Low-key,
I
low-key,
said,
low-key.
you
Yes.
guys are the
Low-key.
best team in football.
But you
We're
were-
tied for the longest win streak,
You
active
didn't
win
say
streak.
that part.
No,
You
he
don't
did.
listen.
That's the second part.
Because
He
you
said the
guys
second
are on
part.
your
He did.
fucking
He did say the
phones,
second part.
fucking
He said
not
top
What's
listening
the point
while
of
I
saying
talk.
that? Like,
Rip,
what's
they're
the point of
the
saying that?
hottest team. They got a top 15 quarterback. He's playing at a top 10 level statistically. They got a top 10 defense. They got a coach of
I'm
the year.
saying run the
They
table.
can't,
Because
they can't
I-
make the, they can't win
I
that.
say run the
Broncos.
fucking
What has
table.
our
Set the
offense
table.
done in these last 4 weeks? We've been able to do a job. I can't.
I'm just laughing at you guys hyping up the Broncos and him lowering expectations.
It's just
No,
like,
I'm
no,
with
you
you.
guys
I'm with
want
you,
to
Drew.
bait
I'm
me
with
into
you, Drew.
saying some dumb shit.
I'm with
I'm not trying to bait you. I'm laying
then,
out.
all right, so you're a Broncos fan rest of the season.
I didn't say that.
So then you're
Bro.
talking to talk.
Bro, all I'm laying out are the facts that you have laid out. That's all I'm saying.
So then why are you mentioning that then? What is that?
Because-
So be high on the Broncos.
if I think
Did
they're
I say
gonna-
anything
if-
incorrect
If
then?
I think they're gonna finish the season 9-8,
That which
why
is
don't you just say they can win one more game?
Because it's not
One
that
more game.
it's not that big
It's
of a
one
deal.
more.
It's not that big.
I want to double nothing, but I want it on a different bet.
But what's the bet, bro?
Browns and Broncos.
That's a you problem, bro. You're gonna owe me my bread.
I was
That's
gonna
a
say
straight
that
bet,
50 or whatever you guys bet's in his pocket.
That's free cash.
Yeah. So you're gonna need something more in tight because you guys at Browns have 2
Where,
wins up on the
where
Broncos.
do you have to
Yeah.
be in the
I would
wins
make it 8
for
and 3.
you to go double or nothing on Riv with this bet?
I don't even
I'm
care
not.
about the double or nothing.
I'm
I just
taking
want
my
I
money.
just-
What if it's
I'm
what
with
if
you.
it's 8.5 wins?
No, he can even have. We can
Nah,
just
if
have
y'all
a different
didn't
bet.
glaze the Broncos the way you did, maybe I'd be more enticed. But
No.
I've sat on this chair and
I
all
don't
I've
know.
heard is
No,
disrespect.
this which I
you
don't
disrespecting
no.
You
yourself.
guys were also ass.
Not
Joe,
even
no,
true.
Joel, I don't give a fuck about like you can have the $50. I don't care. I just want we can even have a side bet just on Browns and Broncos. Like I want that. That's what I'm thinking about.
No.
That's what I
But
want.
The,
Not
Bron-
doing
the
that.
Browns have a 2-game lead over the Broncos.
No, I just want the bragging rights. That's all.
That's a you problem, bro.
Because
Sorry.
I just want the bragging rights.
So
That's
let me
all.
ask you,
no,
Rick.
no. Let me ask you.
Let's
What's the
ask each
point?
other.
What's the point of saying all this? So did I lie about top 15?
About Russ?
Yes.
I think he's fringe. I think you hyped him up OD.
Did I lie
think
about the
top
top 10
15-ish.
defense?
You lied
I
about the
think-
coach of the year shit for
Coach
sure.
of the year lost.
Right now, he's top
undoubtedly.
10 in odds to
But
win.
top
We don't
10 in
care
odds
about
is like
I'm giving. I'm telling you the truth. We went from 1-5 to 5-5.
I need like top 5 odds for that to move me. Top 10 isn't a ton.
Sean Payton took a terrible team, and he's
Made
been a
him a mid.
strong part to get us back to mid. We've been
You were
far
never
from
mid.
mid the last 4 weeks.
I guess that's a good job. I would
I
put
think
a
So,
our
lot
all right,
of
keep
defense is
going.
playing well, but it's not top 10 well.
I wanna
no.
see
Well,
the
our
odds
EPA
for,
right now, we're top 8. That's all I'm saying. Last 4
Coach
weeks, and
of
we're
the
number
year.
2 in takeaways in the entire season.
All I'm saying is
So
that
I didn't lie, is what you're saying.
I never said you lied. I just laid down your facts
So
as to
then-
why you could make a very compelling case for the Broncos to
To
finish
get
the
one
season.
more win?
Make it
I'll
a
be honest.
playoff.
just want-
He's
you're-
13th on DraftKings.
What, number 13th?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, 3
Between
spots
Pete
away.
Carroll and Mike McCarthy.
Okay, and that's terrible.
I mean, that's not Coach of the Year candidate.
But he's
I
been
mean,
better than Pete. Pete's
he's-
been not that
Bro,
good.
he's plus 4,000.
I understand. But also, let's name the guys in front of him.
Name it like a 10th
Name
or
the
a
guys in
9th
front
guy.
of him.
So the guys directly in front of him, and then going down to number
Yes.
1, Pete Carroll,
He's been better.
John Harbaugh,
He's been better.
Stefanski, Doug Peterson, Shane Steichen, Kyle Shanahan, Mike Tomlin, Nick Sirianni, Kevin O'Connell,
Going
Mike
way too
McDaniel,
fast.
D'Amico Ryan,
Could
Sam
have just gone
Campbell.
one by one.
Can you do one by one?
There's,
Not bad.
there's coaches that
I
Sean
thought this
Payton
was
should be
obvious.
over.
It was
Yes.
Kevin Stefanski. I heard
Stefanski, who's an offensive guy, and the defense has been carrying.
he has no quarterback.
I understand, that,
Or
but
Nick
you even
Chubb.
mentioned with that quarterback, he's not been good.
Okay,
correct?
let's get some of the.
Stefanski.
You can't
hasn't
say
been
you
good?
can't say
You
that
said
though.
why?
You can't say that because the defense been carrying y'all.
That's not true. That hasn't
Dude,
been
he has
carrying
quarterbacks
us.
that are throwing to the
I
other
mean, you guys
teams.
are getting 4 turnovers a game.
No,
That's
our
blessing your
defense last 4
offense.
weeks has been great, but again, our offense still 4 game-winning drives from Russ this season. That's number 1 in the NFL.
7 and
guys
3, and they
had
don't
4
have a
turnovers in
reliable
game-winning
quarterback.
drives.
Okay, but again, we had to go the length of the field to score both of those game-winning drives.
Yeah, the Buffalo one, you got bailed out. I just gotta keep it a sack. You got bailed out.
Will Lutz missed the field goal and then
He's
made
mid.
it. I mean, no,
They had
he's
12
he's
people on the
actually.
field.
I'm not going to say he's mid in terms of field goal kickers for the Broncos. He has the highest.
And you
field
got
goal
a great
percentage.
field goal kicker. You give him more reasons.
He has.
why
I mean,
the
he's
Broncos
made
should win more
91% of field goals. I mean, that's good. I mean, that's
I
only
just
slightly
the
better.
plus
I'm gonna be honest,
4,000.
I
I
just
can't.
think
I can't do coach.
If
of the
y'all
year.
miss the
I can't do it.
playoffs, this shit was for nothing, bro. I'm gonna be honest. This whole win streak, this whole
He's cooking.
great start
How
to
many
the
games
season,
did we win last year?
What'd you go?
6,
5.
5.
Yeah, something like that.
We gave the Seahawks a top 6
But
pick.
that's not what you brought Russ and Sean Payton
We're getting
for,
better.
bro.
We got better. We were a bad team at the start of the season. We were arguably the worst team
Let me
in
ask
the
you,
league.
okay,
Lost to
Drew,
Zach Wilson.
Drew, let me ask you a question.
Go.
You got marginally better. Yes. But with other teams in the AFC, like the Texans, like the Colts, that can get better marginally and in the offseason,
Okay.
do you
Colts
not
and AR back.
do you not realize that you're getting better and other teams getting better while also maintaining their
Rodgers is
eliteness?
back.
Huh?
Rodgers gonna be back.
Sure. Like those other teams
Don't
getting
say
like
sure, we
like
beat
you're
you with
not
Zach
doing
Wilson.
much that
Respect
makes
us.
you that much better.
Okay,
You're
our
still going to be
defense-
in the hunt.
Riv, I don't think you're really letting it sit in your head that we went from the worst defense in the league
I understand that, bro.
to the last 4 weeks. We're a top 10 team.
Yes.
So that's getting better. Correct.
I said you got marginally. Yes,
That-
you got
That's
better.
not marginal.
I
That
mean,
is
if
a
you- if you-
significant
if
jump
you-
better.
They were the worst offense in football last year. Now they're playing at
Yes, but the
respect-
season
So
isn't
we've
over.
gotten
We have 7 games left.
significantly
But even
better.
still, at worst, they're
Okay.
probably gonna be a top
Riv,
20.
that's
man.
why you're losing me.
You got significantly better. Hoorah! Congrats. Now,
But you
once
saying
again,
it
in the
sarcastically
because
is
in the off
fucking
because in
killing
the
me.
offseason, you're not going to be able to do much to build this team
We
up.
have a first round draft pick. We have a second round draft pick.
A lot of teams do.
But again, we
They
can
all-
use
a
it
lot of
on
teams have
needs.
caps.
You traded your second for Sean Payne. Do you have another second?
Did we trade a first and a second
Trade
this year?
a first last
I was
year,
going to
second
say, I'm
this
pretty
year.
sure we have all our picks because last year
I'll double check.
You definitely got a first rounder, so
I know we have a
that's
first
the
round
top
pick.
Sure.
prospect.
And there are good players to be had in this draft class,
I agree.
especially at the wide receiver
I agree.
position. So then we can get better.
You don't
and
have your second.
I can still live with that. We hadn't had our first and second for the last 3 years.
I can see that.
Where
And
do you
we
think the
still have
Broncos
got-
finish? Or what do you think the record is?
Probably like 7, 8 wins, maybe 9. Sounds like they can get there. But like, what is that
I
like?
think 10 is impossible.
Do you think 10 is
can't bait me,
impossible?
buddy.
I don't think 10 is impossible.
I don't either,
It's
but
not
again, this is what
impossible.
I'm
Outside chance.
predicting. I'm
Outside
predicting that we
I mean,
just
if
miss
they
it.
get through Cleveland, Texans, and Detroit 2-1,
It's like, here's the thing. Am I going to be angry if we fucking win 10 games? That's why this conversation's so it's baffling. It's because I'm the one
would you
that's
be
here
angry if
being
you don't make the
happy.
playoffs?
Of course, as a fan, I'd be upset, of course.
Really? Because you were excited about tanking for Caleb.
Because that's completely different. Now you're telling me that we have a chance at the playoffs. I'm
so
back
confused.
in. You're telling me we don't have a shot. I want to put us in the best position to get a great pick. No, like that's common sense. Like y'all are smarter than that.
Listen. Hope you make the playoffs.
Let's go
Are you going to
Broncos.
upset any team? Like, do you have a
We've already upset 2
so
because
you
in the 4-game win streak.
You're upset too.
I get it.
What-
No,
what
I
we
get
got?
being upset.
Bills and Chiefs.
I get
Y'all
being
beat
upset
the Bills
because,
and
hey,
Chiefs.
Bill knows the clapping noise.
Because winning the battle, right? That's cute. But ultimately, what matters is winning the war. Right now, the Broncos are winning the war because right now the war between his bum ass Jets and the Denver Broncos.
that's
Oh,
nothing to do
war
with it.
between,
We don't
the,
gotta-
the war
okay,
was
I'll
the
keep
week
it stat.
5 game.
Yeah, we
No,
beat y'all the
because
last
let's
2
talk
years
big
with Zach
picture.
Wilson.
Because again,
Aaron Rodgers
y'all
got
been
hurt.
about the glitz and the glamour. Y'all got the superstar names, but here we are winning games.
Because Rodgers is hurt, bro.
Superstar names.
No, but even hey, you guys beat us without him, right?
Yeah, you guys are
Y'all
mid
were
as fuck
winning.
for
Y'all
that.
were winning games without
Battle
him.
with a
Zach
fucking
Wilson
mids
had a
over here.
winning record. I mean, what happened?
all I know
You
is
told me
Dehls,
that the Jets season wasn't over.
It wasn't.
all I
until it
know,
was.
all I
Right?
know,
The
Dehls,
Jets season wasn't over.
if we
But
had
now
Aaron
that it is,
Rodgers-
because it's very blatant that this offense
But bro,
is the
that's-
worst in
that's
the
the-
game.
That's the same shit you're doing. Like it's your team. You're gonna be hype. Of course, when we go out there beat
No,
the Bills
but-
week 1, of course I'm gonna be like, this
But
isn't
when
over.
we're
The
one
defense
in-
is
but
elite.
when-
because it wasn't. It was week 1. It was not over. We had a chance. We was 4-4. We've lost 3 straight games. Yes.
Uh-huh.
No, we was 4-3.
But you
and
guys
lost 3
still,
straight.
you guys were still that record. You guys were a fringe top 10 team in your opinion, with Zach Wilson still playing like shit.
I was never there.
You
But
best believe though. If we was 5-5 and Aaron Rodgers was back, we running a fucking table. And
That
making
has
playoffs.
okay. We're
You best
living in a
believe that shit.
fantasy.
You don't
I
even
didn't know
believe
that
in your
we're in
Broncos.
Marvel.
You don't
I
even
didn't know
believe
that
in
we
your
have alternate
Broncos.
universes. I don't believe in my Broncos.
Drew,
You don't believe in your
Drew, if
Broncos.
your war is Jets versus Broncos, that's a sad war to fight in. my brother.
No, our war. This is our war. Don't fucking play big picture with me. Don't
Sorry.
fucking play big
You
picture
said the
with me.
worst in the
That's
Jets.
embarrassing because Pick a Side has our own battles. The same way that you tweet based off just us is
We're
the
up-
same way that I'm
we're up-
having a conversation
We're up
based.
2-0.
I'm excuse in what?
The Broncos and Jets.
2-0 in the last 2 years. Again, that's cute because end of the season he'll have the
Since
better
we've been
record.
on Pick a Side, We're 2-0 against
So you versus me, right? And just your team versus my team means more to me than our end season record? No.
Neither
it's
of us are going to
hilarious.
do shit, bro.
It's funny
What if
because
we make the playoffs? Then we did something.
and losing the first round, like
you know what's funny? You know what's funny?
Because that
We'll
would have
take
been
it.
that would have been you guys with Aaron Rodgers. You guys just would have been damn.
Ooh.
We lost in the first round. Damn,
would've
we
went
just
further.
came up short.
I think our ceiling
Do we
with
know-
Rodgers is probably higher than
Yes.
yours.
because your
100%.
defense is amazing. Aaron Rodgers is really good, but again, unfortunately,
You know what's
just
hilarious
weren't
about
able
this
to see that.
conversation?
Jets are 4-6. They're right there.
You know what's hilarious about this
How many
conversation?
in a row have they lost?
3
3.
To who?
Chargers.
Worst defense in the league.
To be fair, though, Colts,
Who you
guys,
prop
same
up
record.
for the Dolphins being
You
every
do.
time?
No, but you guys were telling me that they're the worst defense in the league.
They
should-
are.
but they should have been able to score points.
Jordan Love just violated
respect,
him.
respect.
Brother.
Respect.
No, you're so right.
Respect.
Then why didn't Zach
Respect.
Wilson go up there and
Respect.
light him
Because
up?
Zach Wilson
Because
is
he
not
sucks.
good.
Because he sucks. Because he's terrible.
Who said
Because he's
Zach
terrible.
Wilson's good?
Zach is not a good quarterback, bro.
He's
I
not
mean,
good.
he's been off the Zach
Yeah.
Wilson
Y'all were a
train
top
for
10
a year
team with
plus.
him as
Hey,
your
look,
quarterback.
the Colts are 5-5. They're on a 2-game heater. They're right there.
I wish we had Gardner
I'm just
Minshew.
saying, y'all told me he was a top. That you guys were a top 10 team,
Whoa,
even
whoa,
with
whoa.
Zach Wilson at quarterback.
I never had.
That was ain't say
top
that.
10.
Respect Dehls.
I
I
never
said
had
it. Hell yeah, I
That's-
said
I
it.
think that's when he
We
died on.
just beat the fucking Eagles. Of course,
So
I'm
what
saying
I
that
beat
shit.
4 weeks ago.
Relax.
Take that.
That's when I had
Jalen
the.
Hurts
That's when I
fucked
had
up
the.
at the
That's
end,
when I had
bro.
them at 10, Riv.
Yeah, all right, but don't bring that
Hey,
shit
my
up.
Super Bowl this year was Broncos and Philly. 2-0.
Nah,
I'll
you
take
know what's
it.
hilarious
And
about
I
this
need New England
conversation?
week 18.
What's funny as hell about this conversation is that even with
You
all this
see
shit
my wall?
going wrong with us, next year when we get Rodgers back, people will fucking pick us to be way better than y'all bums. Fuck out of here. When we get Rodgers back, we're gonna be
Fuck
way
outta
better than
here.
y'all team.
Top 10 pick.
Is that not true? If we have Aaron Rodgers
Yeah,
back,
nah, for sure. Because the defense.
Small
I
setback for a
tell
big
us-
comeback,
bro,
man.
everybody will pick us over the Broncos. Everybody will
got
pick
a
the
few
Jets
years
over the
left
Broncos.
And then everyone's going to be disappointed when the Jets
Okay.
disappoint like
Keep
they
saying
do
that.
and have
Because
done
we
their
gained Devontae
entire
Adams. Keep saying that.
organizational
'Cause we
career
gained Devontae Adams.
outside
Keep
of
saying
big three. Yeah, so we're going to get Aaron Rodgers back.
Correct.
We're going to get a top 5 wide receiver, one of the best
Yes.
receivers of all time.
Yes.
So yeah, no shit people are going to pick you over
Yeah,
us.
okay.
Because people aren't brain dead. It
So
doesn't take a
laugh now,
rock
cry
science.
later, like your boy Drake.
Shout
Laugh
out
now,
Drake all
cry
season,
later.
unfortunately.
Laugh
Shout
now,
out
cry
Turkey on
later. Stop talking about the
It's
Jets,
a battle
man.
of the
Bum-ass
fucking mids
team.
at this table.
One of the worst
man.
organizations in football.
Ooh.
One of the worst organizations in football are the Los Angeles Chargers because they have
Well
had
said.
franchise quarterback after franchise quarterback Dan Fouts, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Justin Herbert, but they can't seem to win games. So we have come up with this topic. We are going to each roundtable give our perfect scenario on how to fix the Los Angeles Chargers.
Pretty easy. Pretty easy.
Kind of.
You ready?
There's one very easy move.
Very easy.
The rest is kind of
Here's
difficult.
the easiest move of them all. Fire Brandon Staley.
Yes.
Bring
Starts
in
there.
Bill Belichick.
Oh,
You become a Super Bowl contender
I
the
wasn't-
very next year.
I was gonna go.
I did
Ben
see
Johnson.
he was thinking about going to the Chargers.
If you tell me with the talent that's on this team, with the Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, of course, we're talking Derwin James,
feel like
one
they
of the
fell off
better
a bit?
safeties in the game. I
In
think
the sense
Joey.
of injuries.
That's
it's
what it
hurting
comes
both
down
of
to.
them.
But when Joey's on the field, we still know that he is a great pass rusher in his own right. Asante Samuel Jr.,
Khalil Mack
Derwin
still,
James.
I think, has the same amount of sacks he had.
The thing is that the one thing that has been holding the Chargers back has been their defense.
Yep.
Who better at correcting a defense than the best defensive mind this game's ever seen, Bill Belichick? He'll come in and one season, this defense will be fixed up right. And then you don't have to worry about the offense because, of course, Justin Herbert's going to go out there and do a job. He's been able to do that for the last couple of seasons. The defense just constantly sells him.
I think you still got to get some receivers though. Mike Will, they didn't
They
extend
extended him,
They did.
but he's coming off a season on injury.
Yes.
Towards ACL, they need a speedster. They do need.
Quentin
and
Johnson looks like a
is
bust.
Dunzo. You know, defensively, like you mentioned, they need to bring in a coach, but I still feel like they need talent out there. Because like Joey Bosa's not always on the field. Khalil Mack,
just
he's
got hurt again.
past
He
his
did just get
prime.
hurt
You know,
again.
they just let J.C. Jackson. They traded him. You know, they still need cornerback
That was
help
just a bad organizational move.
for sure. Shout out to Derwin James though. He's one of them ones for
He's
sure.
one of the best safeties in the
But they
game.
still need help. Like they need to go in and just defensive coach, defensive players.
So I went Bill Belichick right up there. I had Ben Johnson as the guy I would go out and
Love
hire.
that.
I'm with Bill Belichick because Ben Johnson's going to be probably the number one name on everyone's board. But I feel like you have Justin Herbert. You probably had advantage over basically every other team that's going to have a coach opening. The biggest issue with the Chargers right now, they're in cap hell for 2024. They really went all in this season. They made some restructures, some extensions to free up money. And in 2024, they're going to be $44 million over the salary cap. Believe it or not, the Saints, once again, will be worse. I think they're around $80 million. And there's not a ton of moves you can make on this team. Moving off Khalil Mack would save you $23 million, but you take $15 million in dead cap. Mike Williams, who you just extended, saves you $20, but $12 million in dead cap. Keenan Allen saves you the most, but how can you move off Keenan Allen? He's been a top 10 receiver in the league. You could restructure some guys, Bosa, Lindsley, Derwin James, Justin Herbert, and Trey Pipkins, which would free up about $30 million in cap space, but you're still going to be over that amount. So in free agency, there's not a ton of moves they can make, but they do have all of their draft picks. They have 7 draft picks or 8 draft picks. They have 2 in the 7th round, and they have holes to fill. While receiver, I think, is one of them, I feel like you kind of have to put it to the side or maybe wait till day 3 because you're going to have Mike Williams coming back. I don't think you can move off him. Keenan Allen, although he's getting up there in age, has proven once again that he's still one of the best receivers in football. And it sucks because you used a first-round pick on Quentin Johnson. He was supposed to be the one to say, wide receiver is fixed. We are fine. But so far through 10, 11 weeks, he has not been that guy.
Do you believe in a year 2 bounce back?
It's hard to be this bad year 1 and have a year 2 bounce back.
Sure.
But there's a lot of holes on this team. Offensive line could use some work. Corners could use some work. Interior defensive line, yet again, linebackers. There's a lot of holes on this team. But I do think, while I was talking to Ben Johnson, I wasn't thinking about Bill Belichick. It probably makes more sense to bring in Bill Belichick because offensively, now again, Bill Belichick has said this on record that he wants to work with guys that he knows and he likes. So that doesn't give me the most faith in the world that he's going to bring in an offensive coordinator that's really going to get the most out of this offense. Mm-hmm. And will Kellen Moore stay under Bill Belichick? Will he look to go elsewhere? Will he get head coaching interviews? Who knows? That's the only kind of pause I have with Belichick is offensive side of the ball. He's kind of showed year in and year out that he's not willing to take the risk and be able to make this big spring to bring in kind of a new offensive mind, a creative mind. He likes his guys. He likes Bill O'Brien and Patricia and Joe Judge and all of these guys that are kind of washed up, for lack of a better terms. But if you're able to bring in Belichick, I don't think you need to go as crazy defensively because he's such a great coach and you can kind of fix those problems with coaching.
I agree with you. I agree with Drew. There's one fix to the Chargers for a franchise that historically falls short of expectations. It does not win in the playoffs, despite having franchise quarterbacks. They need to bring in a head coach that's a proven winner. They need to bring in Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick and the Patriots could part ways at the end of the season. And if I'm the Chargers, that's the first guy I'm bringing in.
Not even a question.
Even with the offensive question marks that Bill comes with. Justin Herbert with a good but not the best supporting cast over the years. The offense in terms of yards has ranked 9th, 4th, 9th, and 11th. And in points, it's 18th, 5th, 13th, and 8th. On average, you can expect a top 10 offense from Justin Herbert.
And 18th was his rookie season.
Yes, despite the offensive surroundings around Justin Herbert. I look at the Chargers right now. They have $94 million of their cap space spent on defense. That's the second most. Yet they are allowing the 31st most yards in the NFL. The Patriots right now are 24th in defensive spending, and they are 16th in yards allowed. Bill Belichick is spending $30 million less on his defense and getting far better production. You're telling me Bill Belichick comes to a Chargers team that has Joey Bosa, has Khalil Mack, has Derwin James, has the rookie stud Tuli Tuipulotu. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. They have Asante Samuel Jr., who I think is a good player. Michael Davis is a good corner. This team is talented. Bill Belichick could make this defense a top 10 defense. And if you give Justin Herbert a top 10 defense, you will be a lock to be a playoff team every single year. Because the number one thing holding back the Chargers and holding back Justin Herbert is that defense. So I'm fixing the defensive side of the football, not with somebody who in theory should be good in Brandon Staley, but somebody who's proven in Bill Belichick. That's the number one move I'm making.
Yeah, that statistic of Justin Herbert, that it's probably not the same now, but a couple of weeks ago, the graphic of Justin Herbert's points equaling the amount of points that the defense has given up. That's the epitome of what's going on with the Chargers. You have on one hand Justin Herbert, who is carrying this team, trying to do everything he can to put his team in position to win. And then the defense, on the other hand, that is constantly blowing it. Theo Ash put out a great video. Oh yeah,
this killed me.
This is solely on Justin Herbert. You're looking at the defense. I think they're in a quarters coverage. You have these two safeties, and one of them, just the middle linebacker, just has no idea what he's doing. Justin Herbert has to go out there and he has to go tell him, hey, this is the coverage that you're running. Theo fucking put a perfectly set out there. How are people going to be so close-minded and just so naive to the fact of the defense is selling? When Justin Herbert did have this chance to go and tie this game, Quentin Johnson did drop the ball. They didn't even have to be put in that position if the defense just locks up and doesn't allow Romeo Doubs to have a wide open touchdown. Listen, credit to Jordan Love and the Packers. You have to ultimately go out there and execute. I'm always about execution, and that's what they did. But there was no execution on the Chargers side of the defense.
They dropped. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rick.
Because I agree with you. I agree with you all. By the way, I have to tell you guys, I had the nastiest nightmare the other day. I really got to tell you this. No,
Broncos won the Super Bowl?
No, it can't be on air. It's a nasty.
Oh, it just hit your mind?
Yeah, it fucked me mentally. Yeah, it was like insane. But yeah, it was really bad.
Join the Patreon. We'll tell you tomorrow.
No, I actually can't even say it on the Patreon. It's
mind.
like really it fucked me up mentally, and I had to go to work like angry about it.
I'm sorry about that, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you. So
had a couple of those.
No, this one's like you're all in it. It's really bad.
I don't do. There's so many ways this could go.
It's really bad. But okay, so boom. So like the Chargers give up a shit ton of points. They give up a shit ton of yards. Do you guys really think it's primarily a coaching thing, or it's also the players? Because I think giving up that many points year by year in Justin Herbert's team, it can't just be a player thing. Like I mean, it can't just be a coach thing. It has to also be looked on the players and the star talent, because they have a shit ton of stars on the opposite end, and you would think at some point they will still be able to figure out something or get stops here and there. But it seems like every game, every waking moment, every clutch time, they just can't get a stop.
I think it's a coach thing, because ultimately you as a coach have to be able to teach what you want to implement, and your players have to know what their assignments are. And I think a lack of preparation in that area is a coach thing, because these players are the same players that versus the Dolphins last year in primetime shut down one of the most explosive offenses in football. So these players have shown they are capable. I just think this coaching is inconsistent, and they don't put them in the right position to succeed.
They've also made some like splash moves, like bringing in J.C. Jackson. We've seen New England corners be great in New England and bad elsewhere. Khalil Mack, who is, statistically this year top 10 in pressures, isn't the same Khalil Mack that we saw in Chicago, and of course not with the Vegas Raiders, or I guess Oakland at the time. There's a tweet from Arjun, who we've quoted before. I think might have worked for PFF at one time, but since 2020, he worked for the Jets. Yeah, since 2020, no team has lost more games when scoring 30 or more points than Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert's out there doing doing more than his job. I mean, yesterday, 2 days ago against the Packers, they had probably 3 drop touchdowns, one definite to Keenan, another one to Keenan where he makes one guy miss, he scores, and then the Quentin Johnson touchdown, which was wide open, and then Austin Eckler also fumbled within the 10, 20-yard line. So that's potentially 28 points left on the board that most other teams and most other players are making those catches and those plays. But, I mean, you give Keenan benefit of the doubt because he's so great, and Eckler's been so great too, but you can't have those moments in these 3-point games. And it feels like every week the Chargers are in 3-point games.
Keenan righted his wrongs. First half, he only had 15 yards. And he's
probably the hardest catch out of all of them, too.
Yeah,
the throw is insane.
Jim O'Brien goes, Stephen A. recommended Rex Ryan to replace Staley and keeping Moore as OC. What are panel's thoughts? Also, what do you think of Brian Flores replacing Staley? And that way you can keep Kellen Moore as OC.
I do have another Viking stat. So this is from last week, but because speaking about Brian Flores, the Vikings started 0-3. Again, this is coming into last week. Since then, their defense has been number 4 in points allowed per game, number 5 in defensive efficiency, number 5 defensive EPA, number 5 in takeaways, and number 7 in yards per game. So Brian Flores, with a defensive unit last year that was the worst in the NFL, we saw Daniel Jones go out there and put up a legendary performance, has completely turned it around. Rex Ryan would be hilarious. I would love that. I'm a huge Rex Ryan fan. It does feel like he's been out of the NFL for 6-7 years now. That feels like a bit of a reach to go out and get Rex. But yeah, I think if Kellen Moore is going to stay on board at offensive coordinator, then go out and get whatever great defensive mind you could go and get.
I like Brian Flores a lot. With the Dolphins, he had a 500 record each year he was there. I think it was the right decision ultimately moving on from him, but he's had success in the NFL, and I think he deserves another head coaching spot. And he was very vocal when the Dolphins not drafting Tua and drafting Herbert. So maybe him going to the Chargers is enticing because he wants to coach him. And yes, I think he would change around the defense.
I don't love how things ended in Miami. I don't love that he couldn't build a relationship with his quarterback. So he's a great defensive mind, but you need more than that to be a great head coach. You need to be able to build those relationships. And listen, maybe he's changed. Maybe, he learned his lesson in Miami. But the last time we saw Miami, how kind of ugly that split was, I don't know if he'd be my first choice for head coach.
this week in the NFL, what do you got for us?
So I could go first. There's been a lot of talk about Caleb Williams, coming into the year, undisputed number 1 pick, has not been able to beat some top teams. He was crying on the sidelines and people felt very strongly about that, which I was surprised about. But I'm curious.
People are insecure about
I know. I'm curious, would Caleb Williams start on this team heading into next season?
All right.
First up, the Cleveland Browns.
100% he start.
Definitely.
He's better than Deshaun. He's better than DTR.
I've been open that these dudes are garbage.
How about
To be fair, Deshaun's last we saw Deshaun, he was not garbage.
No, the second half, yes.
Would he start for them next season? I don't think so. I think if Deshaun,
They're kicking him out the door.
I think if
pretty fast.
Deshaun is healthy, he's their quarterback. They spent too much capital to get him.
how about the San Francisco 49ers?
No,
No,
That's a tough one. I don't think so. I
he
think
would have to
they're-
do a shit ton.
I think
to
they're
start
solidified with Brock Purdy right now, especially given how much they're paying Brock Purdy. They're paying him little to nothing, and it allows them to fill out the other holes on the roster.
He's also a great quarterback.
He's playing
You
great.
should say that.
all right.
he's playing
What are your
great.
answers to both of these?
He would start on the Browns. He probably won't start in the 49ers.
Okay,
I have a few more. How about the Miami Dolphins?
absolutely not.
No, I think McDaniels and Tua have a great connection. No, I would say no.
He wouldn't start on the Dolphins. He's better than Tua.
The Denver Broncos.
That's another one. It's a lot of money, but they want to. I'd
wouldn't.
say yeah. I'd say
He
yeah.
wouldn't.
I don't think he would because you can't move off of Russ's contract. And I think for the situations you're naming, most of them, Caleb is better. But when we talk about for the Broncos, I think he'd sit a year and learn and then play.
What are the most like? Name the ones he's better.
He's about. Let Joe finish.
I said,
Yeah,
I have a few
let's
more
just
names.
finish. All
You know
right.
who it
I
is.
just want to hear it. You know.
How about the Arizona Cardinals with Kyler?
No.
Nah.
Detroit Lions with Jared Goff.
Yes.
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 He would start over Jared Goff.
They'd move off of Jared
They
Goff.
can move off him
Yes.
pretty easily.
That's so disrespectful to Goff. He's been good.
Goff's a hooper.
Next season, no.
I have 2 more here. I think these are easy, but let me get your thoughts. The Jacksonville Jaguars and Dallas Cowboys.
No.
The
and
Jaguars, no. It's Trevor Lawrence, and no, it's Dak Prescott.
No, but
Not
no.
emphatically.
But damn.
No.
But damn.
Wow, you couldn't stop doing that just now. So who was the quarterbacks Caleb was better than?
Caleb is better than Brock. I think when he gets to the NFL, he'll be better than Brock.
Okay, buddy.
I think he'll be better than Tua.
Yeah.
In year one.
Well, over time, yes, but in the first 2 years, I think he can be better than those guys.
And Brock, first 2 years?
What about the Jets?
Yeah, stop it.
Of course, the Jets he'd start.
I'm saying
Oh,
Aaron
over
Rodgers.
Aaron?
You got Rodgers.
Oh, now we're rocking with Aaron for the year.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna at least rock with Aaron for 1 year.
I'd say no. They definitely see how it looks for sure. For sure. They only played like a snap at him, so they definitely
of
want to.
course.
You don't think Caleb Williams will be better than Brock?
Nah, bro.
You don't?
No,
We had a would you rather on Caleb, and you took Caleb over a lot of guys.
I don't think Brock was in that.
So did you. What are you throwing him under the bus for?
How
No,
about
I'm
the-
saying
Hold
because
on. How about the Commanders?
Yes.
yes, he's
Not even a
yes,
thought.
he would start
Okay.
100%.
I don't think.
I'm trying to
I don't
get
think-
each- I'm
I don't
trying to get
think-
one of
I don't think
y'all,
you
one
said
of your
Brock in
guys.
those though.
I didn't say
He
Brock,
would.
Yeah, I don't think you said Brock.
but I said like names like Kyler.
But also
Murray.
biased as fuck, I would say Brock. So like
But not being biased though. I want you.
I can't not be biased with Brock.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just being honest with you.
No, I know. I'm saying I think Caleb. I would rather him, but we're talking about for
No,
these
yeah, I
teams and if they'd start.
No,
That's
that's what.
two different questions.
I
Way
don't.
different.
That's why I don't want to get into argument because I'm telling you openly, like I'm very biased. So you're not gonna get a. Like,
So I
answer.
basically know what your real answer is. You're
I
just being
can't give. I'm
biased.
telling you, it's not gonna be a good answer. So
You got him.
I know I got him.
sure.
All right. What's your this week in NFL?
My this week in the NFL is pretty simple. It's
Some bullshit.
Jordan Love.
I figured.
Last 3 games, completing 64% of his passes, 839 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 96.4 passer rating. Jordan Love's playing good. He's playing in rhythm. He's not continuing some of the bad habits he had early in the season. I think you can argue that in the beginning of the year, the numbers were inflated. He got away with a lot of things. Those things then caught up to him. Then he adjusted. Now he's playing the best football he's played. And I think Jordan Love, for everybody that's trying to be too critical of him, we have to understand it's his first year starting. And it's good to see that over the course of the season, he is getting better with receivers that are not at the top of the league. I mean, the Packers have one of the worst weapons room in football. And I hope the Packers actually get him some help and get somebody who can be a prime time.
Oh.
With what the Packers have shown us over the last few years, it seems unlikely that they would help him out. Riv, what's your this week in the NFL?
Did you think? Question, just real quick question. Did you think Houston's wide receiver core was anything to talk about prior to the
We
season?
thought it was mid.
Mid?
Nah, but Nico Collins
And then
broke
CJ
out.
just came in,
And Tank
elevated
Dehls
shit.
broke
And
out.
all that.
CJ came in, but also Bobby Sloyd came in and it implemented a different scheme.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just think sometimes your quarterbacks need to elevate.
I also think that you just need a play caller that calls the right plays for your players.
If you
Nico,
game, yeah, you know.
Nico Collins was used in a very specific way. He then got his role expanded
No, I
and
agree.
played better.
But
And then Tank
sometimes-
Dell is amazing.
Sometimes your quarterback got to go out of structure to do things that, you know.
Yeah, Jordan Love's been doing that.
I understand.
You've been doing
Boo-hoo. Here we go. Putting these wide receivers from the 2020 NFL draft and 2020 NFL draft from 1 to 5. Now I'm going to give you a bucket of where you can just put a wide receiver in that bucket and hear the rest of the names. Okay.
Line ranking.
Yes. Blindly ranking. So the first name up,
Sorry, how many names do we have?
not bad. It's only,
Receivers from 2020,
It's just five.
2021.
Oh,
No.
5. Okay, my
no, it's not 5 names.
I thought you said 5.
I'm going to name 9.
9.
You rank 5.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little fun. Got
Okay,
2
so
draft
there's gonna be
class.
some
Okay,
guys.
so
that
there are
just
some
can't
guys that we just are not going to rank. We could just say they're out of the ranking.
Yes, that's why I gave you the bucket. Put
Okay.
them in the bucket in
rank.
case you want to, you know.
All right, I'll keep
Or we
track.
could just do all 9. We could just rank all 9.
That's up. If you guys want to rank on that,
Let's
that's
just
up to you.
rank all 9.
Oh, this one should be easy. The first one up should be probably last. Jerry Judy.
Last.
Okay.
No.
So, Riv, I think before we go,
I'm fine with this. I think it's a
no,
good idea.
I like that. I like that. Just, for the TikTok, make the intro a little bit better. Ranking these
Why don't you do
receivers.
the TikTok intro?
Because
and I
it's your thing. Just put ranking these
They
receivers
love-
from
they love your
2020
No,
and 2021.
blind ranking.
blindly ranking these receivers from the 2020 NFL draft in the 2021 NFL draft. Number 1 name, Jerry Judy.
There's a lot of great receivers in
Wait,
these two
so
draft
2020
classes.
and 2021.
By the way, I did this in
Yes.
order of where they got drafted. So Jerry Judy in 2020 got drafted first.
I wouldn't have done that because you again should be blind.
No, if I'm saying the names.
What do you mean you did this in order?
We already know the names.
Yeah,
of
we know the
who's-
name. It doesn't matter. Stop.
I'm
Shut up.
bitch.
So we have 9 spots we have to fill.
Yes.
let's
okay.
go 7.
No, it's 10 spots actually. So
It's 10 spots.
want to go 7?
All right, no, I'm down to 8.
I'm
This is
going
tough-
9. I'm
It's
going
tough to do a
9.
blind ranking because we know the names you're gonna say. You know what I mean?
That's why I didn't want to say blind. I was just
Yeah.
going to name them.
It's fine. Just do the blind.
We already did the
Okay,
TikTok
first
intro.
name is
Jerry
Jerry
Judy.
Judy. I think he should be 9.
I can level and go 9.
Okay.
Next name up, CD Lamb.
3.
So we're getting this thing. Like we know we're gonna
Or
have Jetta for
2.
him.
Jed is the number 1.
Yes.
2021, there's a Jamar.
yeah,
2021
Jamar
is CeeDee Lamb is 3.
Yes.
Yes.
Justin Jefferson.
Number
1.
1.
Brandon Ayuk.
4.
5.
I'm going to go number 4.
Can we
Oh, because
conversation?
we do have Waddle. We have
5.
Waddle.
Can we go
I think
5?
Brandon Ayuk's better than Waddle.
This season he has been.
But for the career, it's been Waddle.
So you have
for
you have
recently.
Jerry at 9,
Jerry 9, Jed is
Lamb at
1.
3.
Yes. So
Jed
we're
is
gonna
on
put Ayuk 4. Can we please go 5?
There's a sneaky name in
I
here.
know there probably is.
I know,
Let's go
I-
5.
I think I lean Ayuk slightly right now.
I still
All right,
lean like
all right,
Ayuk.
I got it,
I
I
would
got
go
our
Ayuk.
number.
You got our
4.
number. So Ayuk
Ayuk
at
is a
4.
4, yes.
T. Higgins.
6.
Yes.
Michael Pittman Jr. is the last name in 2020.
He'll be 7.
Okay.
Okay, he's number 7. I would have maybe slightly put Michael Pittman above T, but I understand.
You got to vote it, buddy. 2021, Jamar Chase.
Number 2,
Jalen Waddle.
5.
5.
Devonta Smith.
Fuck.
This is
Blew it.
why I
Forgot about
said.
Smith.
This is why I
Damn
said.
it,
Wait,
Smith.
you had a bucket.
I
You had a
said
bucket.
Y'all put T Higgins too high, bro.
Honestly, bro, I forgot about Smitty.
You
I
had
thought
a-
it was
you had a-
just. I was
no,
just
there's
thinking
another
Waddle.
name though.
But the thing is, you would have put Pittman over Higgins.
You
So
had
leave
a-
but
it
I would have
Trey.
put
Who
Higgins
else
like
do I
at
forget?
7 though.
Delt, you're
I could
forgetting
live with
somebody
putting-
else.
Pittman
Chase.
a spot lower.
Just wait on it. That was because
So what's number? So what are the numbers? What do we have?
you have Jerry Judy at 9. This is 10 names, by the way. So
I
you have the 10
understand.
Yeah,
spot.
it's-
You have Jerry Judy at 9. You have CD at 3. You have Justin Jefferson at 1. You have Ayuk at 4. You have Higgins at 5.
6.
6. Pittman at 7. Then you had Chase at 2. You had Waddle at 5.
So we have to unfortunately put Smitty at 8.
You can. So that means where's Amon-Ra St. Brown?
I'm gonna throw up.
I told you there was a name you were missing. You
But
had a
look,
bucket.
Amon
You had a
Ra outside the
bucket.
top 5 isn't terrible because Ayuk is better than Amon Ra.
That would be he's at 10.
What?
You have
I think it's
Pittman Jr.
conversation.
and T over
If
Amon-Ra.
I'm ranking this, I think Jalen Waddle at 5, he should have been a spot lower at 6. Amon Ra goes at 5.
I respect that.
Number 7 is T. Number 8 is Pittman.
6 is Smitty.
You're right. You're right. You're
Damn, we
right.
fucked this up.
Yeah,
I'll
you're
keep
right.
You
this
had a
stat.
bucket. I gave you a bucket. Put
That's
the
why it
names in
was
a
blind
bucket.
rankings. Y'all were just like, we know the names. You lied.
So we got
Indeed, I did.
Jerry. So Jerry Judy drops to 10.
Yeah.
So
By
I
far
thought.
the
Oh, I thought we had. My bad. Thought we had 9.
You
we had
did
9
say
names.
you started with 9, but then you said,
I'm
"Oh,
gonna
I
be.
lied."
I'm gonna be honest. If this bucket thing was, I don't know what you mean by the bucket because we had
The
to
buck-
rank these players somewhere.
No, but the bucket was, say for example, you get a
I'll
name.
be honest. We should just rank them 1 through 5. Just these 2 classes.
You get the bucket was in case you get a name at Michael Pittman at 5.
blind
You could put
ranking
him
was
right
good.
there.
You
I'm
had you cooked.
I'm sorry, y'all had to just listen.
We
to this.
folded.
Yeah, you could have put Michael Pittman in the bucket, waited to the end, and then be like, yeah, he's like, hey.
So if we're
It's just blind-
redrafting,
I can't. You can't do a blind ranking. You know.
Well, you should know
what I
your
mean?
fucking draft class. How
so,
about
okay,
that?
if we're re-ranking our blind ranking, number one
Now
is
that it's
Jefferson.
not blind anymore.
Yes, number 1 is Jefferson.
Yes.
Number 2 is
Jamar Chase.
Number 3 is CD.
Mhm.
Number 4,
You agreed
I'm
on
still
Ayuk?
going
Come
Ayuk.
on,
Yeah, I agreed on Ayuk.
Amon
Who you
Ra.
going with, Dehls? Because you're the top breaker.
You're the tiebreaker,
I
Dehls.
like them both. It's just Amon-Ra gets way more targets than Ayuk, so his numbers are going to be inflated compared to Ayuk. I would
Who's
probably
just a
say
better
land Ayuk.
receiver?
Ayuk at
Changed,
4.
man.
I'm
Number
around
5,
It
Amon
changed.
or Smitty or Amon Ra.
Amon Ra.
I'd have an Amon-Ra.
Number 5,
What do you
Amon
think,
Ra.
bro?
It doesn't
think
matter. He got outvoted.
No.
Smitty-
I'm very interested.
It's definitely a conversation.
I
yeah,
think it's
this is
I would
why.
lean
This is
Amon
why
Ra,
he's
bro.
underrated.
What do
This
you
is
mean?
why
It's
he's
so
Why you saying it like
underrated.
Smitty's trash?
Smitty's an
You
elite
lean him on?
receiver too.
Elite.
Yes, one of the top receivers in the league.
Elite.
Yes,
I'm on Roz Elite.
Fringe.
he's only in
Smitty's
the
walking on
slot.
the. He's really good. Don't do
I think
that.
Amon's better than him.
Yeah, but you act like it's disrespect to say Smitty's better
It's
than
not
Amon.
disrespect.
Amon has some of the most for sure hands in the game.
So does
Smitty also
Smitty.
has some of the most for sure hands.
I don't know.
You gotta stop.
Don't know.
Yeah, you're the one disrespecting
Don't know.
Smitty.
I like Smitty a lot. He's not better than Amon. But
Number 5, Amon Ra. Number
6,
6,
Smitty.
Smitty.
7 wide.
Number
Waddle.
7, Waddle. Number 8, Higgins.
Smitty's better
I would
than
put
Waddle.
Pittman over Higgins.
Waddle's
Me
just had
personally.
such a down year, bro.
Number
He's
9,
hurt.
Pittman, and then
I
number
know.
10 is Judy. Judy's last in
Yeah, he
every
is.
list.
He is.
Undoubtedly.
Almost said Jalen Rigo on this shit.
Jalen
That
Ramsey.
would
He
He would
got-
have been 10. Well, not over Judy, but if we're like blindly
11,
ranking
yeah.
those
Yeah,
guys,
because
he'd
he
be on
got
10.
drafted before. You know,
That was-
my boy.
That was certainly a segment.
All right. Hopefully this one's a little bit cleaner.
Here we go.
Over the last 3 games, Mr. Tank Dell has 20 catches, 319 yards, 4 touchdowns. He has 12 catches, gaining over 15 or more yards. That's number 1 in the NFL over that span. This is one of the best, the greatest draft steals this past season. So we have to respect Tank Dell. This is a Would You Rather Tank Dell edition. First name up, Puka Nacua.
I would go. I like Tank Dell's explosiveness more. I would go Tank.
I feel like whenever Puka comes up, I don't take him. And it's not that I don't like Puka. I like Puka. I just think these guys are better. I'm going with Tank Dell.
Where'd you go?
I lean Puka Nacua.
I'd probably say lean Puka.
Okay. Next name,
Rams merchants. I swear.
Jordan Addison.
I'm going Jordan.
I'm still going Jordan Addison.
I'm going Jordan.
I would
Addison.
also lean Jordan Addison. Last rookie that we're going to. Oh, I'll name 2 more rookies. Excuse me. Jackson Smith and Jigba.
That's how you pronounce his last name. I go
It
Puka.
is.
No,
It's
okay.
Tank
but
Dell, buddy.
it's Tank Dell.
Oh shit! I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
so sorry. We was just talking about Puka. I go Tank Dell. Pardon me. Pardon me.
JSN's starting to come on. You know, he's definitely getting more
Wow.
involved in the offense. Slightly lean Tank Dell.
Until
feel good about
JSN is a little bit more consistent, I'm gonna go with Tank Dell.
Tank Dell has by far and away been the better player. I'm still going to trust my evaluation draft process. I'm going to say JSN, but completely Tank Dell has been the better player.
TikTok's gonna cook
For
you.
sure. And that's why I'm me. And I don't care what they say about me.
Yep.
Next name up, this one where we got to get into more upper echelon because he's been that good. Chris Olave or Tank Dell.
Chris Olave.
Chris Olave.
Okay.
The fuck?
Tank Dell or George Pickens.
Tank Dell.
Tank.
I would go Tank Dell.
Pickens is just so hit or miss, man.
He is.
He has the explosiveness there, but just not consistently. I'd probably lean Tank Dell.
Tank.
I said Tank.
Okay. I'm also going to go Tank. Tank Dell or Christian Kirk.
Tank. I'd go Tank.
I'm going with Christian Kirk.
They're just doing different things for you. Like Kirk is that perfect kind of possession wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. Tank Dell's giving you the explosiveness. So I'd probably lean Tank.
Part of me does lean Tank, but this I definitely understand where you're coming from, Joel. I'm gonna go Tank Dell, but it's definitely a conversation. I'm going guys near him in terms of yards because right now Tank Dell ranks top 20 in yards. Michael Pittman or Tank Dell?
Michael
Michael
Pittman.
Pittman.
I'll also go Michael Pittman. On his same team, Nico Collins or Tank Dell?
They provide different things.
They
Tank
do.
Dell is that explosive receiver, but Nico Collins can get over the top of the defense. I'm gonna trust. I'm gonna go Nico Collins. I'm going Nico Collins.
I think I lean Tank Dell right now.
Shout out to Nico, who's been awesome this year. I do think I do think Tank Dell is the best receiver on his team. Hollywood Brown.
Tank.
I'm still going with Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood's a good name.
Hollywood is a good receiver.
He has a good receiver. I think I'd lean Hollywood.
This is also very tough. I think Hollywood's a lot better than what people give him credit for. I'm going to lean Hollywood Brown. Jacoby Myers.
Tank Dell. But Jacoby Myers is the perfect, just do it all Swiss Army receiver. He's the model of consistency, but I'm taking Tank Dell.
I'm with you.
I didn't say this guy's name in terms of rookies. Zay Flowers.
Yeah,
I was waiting for that, and I wish you didn't because I don't know where I'm going to go.
I think it's a toss-up between these two. I think Zay Flowers offers a lot of the same things Tank Dell does, but he's a little bit more built.
He
in
is
his
strong as
physique.
shit.
I'm going to go with Zay Flowers.
I probably still lean Zay.
Give me Flowers. Give me Flowers.
I think Tank might just be slightly better. That's where I end. And that's going to be it.
That was cute.
Tank Dell.
A lot of good names that I know that statistically he's been right there with them, and I know it's very early on, so there's a little bit of hesitancy having the conversation whether he's better than them or
We
not.
have Dolphins Hard Knocks dropping tonight.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that.
You're watching that?
Kidding me?
I'm excited.
Has a team that's ever had an in-season Hard Knocks won a Super
Well, to
Bowl?
be fair, it
It's been
started
two-
last
year
year.
two. Yeah.
So it has
Oh,
about to
for
be
one.
over.
It was Arizona last year.
So it's about to be over 2. That's what.
Do you guys want to know the names that Tank Dell has more yards than this season? Very interesting.
Justin Jefferson.
Well, that doesn't count.
That doesn't count.
But he has more yards
Yo,
than
bro,
Crystal.
really? For real?
Well, he was right. He has more yards than Chris Olave, has more yards than Garrett Wilson, has more yards than a DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, Travis Kelce, Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, Calvin Ridley. Some really great names that he's over right now.
These last 3 weeks have been legendary.
For sure. For sure. He's been awesome.
Tank Dell has been exceptional. A lot of those names, one specifically you mentioned, just doesn't have quarterback play. That's Garrett Wilson. Give Garrett Wilson Aaron Rodgers, man.
Oh, remember that
Should've had
Tyreek Hill
Rodgers.
versus Garrett Wilson
Yeah,
conversation?
and Garrett Wilson would have been right there.
I won't disrespect him. The only thing I will say is the one conversation that we had was the Keenan Allen or Garrett Wilson.
Keenan's
I
going
understand
crazy.
the would you rather because of the long-term Garrett Wilson, but I'm just glad that Keenan Allen is having the season that he's having
balling out.
because he's been unbelievable.
Yeah, he's still not better though.
Garrett
Like,
needs
he's
to-
playing
Right
great.
now,
Garrett needs to get these
Right
fumbles
now?
in check.
Right now,
knows
he
Keenan's
got
got
been
to.
a top 5 receiver in the league.
Right now, Keenan might got the stats, but he's not a better receiver than Garrett.
Come on, man. I mean, at a point, why doesn't talent and production, like, why do we have to put talent always at the forefront?
Because production for the wide receiver position is heavily reliant on quarterback play.
Hey,
You
D-Hop
could-
said, fuck all that. Sometimes if you got it, you got it, man.
When you're great,
Garrett
you're great.
Wilson's
And Garrett
on-
Wilson's on pace for
I
1,200.
say,
Yes.
yeah, over 100 catches, 1,200 yards.
But
Here's
it's
the
the
thing,
thing.
but
Probably
I'm
like
just
2
saying Keenan
touchdowns.
Allen in this situation.
DeAndre Hopkins had bad quarterback play, but he didn't have Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is like quite literally one of the
Didn't he have,
worst
like,
starters
Brian
in
Hoyer?
quarterback
Yeah, he had
history.
some bad
It's some
quarterbacks.
pretty bad
He had some
dubs.
bad
But like
quarterbacks.
those guys are still like a tier or 2 above what Zach is. That's what I'm saying.
She was wrong.
Like that's it's so bad for Zach that
Zach
like, he's
Wilson's
one of the worst
arguably
ever.
No, you're right. He's dog shit. He's absolutely garbage. He's not good at football.
Yo, also, when are we gonna have the conversation that
Trevor
Garrett Wilson
Siemian?
can't hold on to a football?
I just said that.
He
He's
has
gotta
a
have-
fumbling
he's
problem. He has to take care of it. But Garrett
luck.
Wilson is still he got that
Good
drip,
luck.
man. Garrett Wilson got that drip.
He's got aura, so
I follow-
automatically
he
it's
does.
okay.
Is he
I
top
follow him
10?
on
Is he
TikTok.
top 10 to you?
He's not top 10 right now.
Top 15.
Like the prediction's not there for him, but he's top 15. Like he's once Aaron Rodgers hopefully stays healthy for the entire year, Garrett Wilson will put himself in that
I think
conversation.
I'm with you, brother.
Freaking week 1 injury is ridiculous.
Where do you have on Moran? You think he's top 10?
I think he is top 10. When we just did our Bleacher Report stream, we were talking about underrated and for the production.
Where would you have him? Like,
I think he's top 10 for sure.
so. Like, where in the 10?
That's tough. I'd have to make my list, write it out.
Can I
I
just throw you
definitely
some
can do
names?
that.
Like,
I can do that.
Some names real
Uh,
quick. You could.
I think the Amon-Ra's better than Smitty. I think Amon-Ra's better than Waddle.
So can I just throw you some names?
Okay.
Jettis,
No,
AJ,
no,
Reek,
no,
Diggs,
no,
Chase,
no.
Cup.
I don't want to. I don't want to disrespect him. But he's been dealing with these injuries last 2 seasons. Yeah. And he's had games this year where he hasn't been the same dominant force. He put just the greatest wide receiver season ever. That's a toss-up, bro.
Tay?
Tay is a better receiver.
What are we currently talking about? Moran?
Yeah. Tay is a better receiver.
CeeDee Lamb?
CD.
That's really all the top guys. Top 10
Keenan
guys.
Allen.
Oh, Keenan Allen. Pardon me.
Gotta respect Keenan.
Garrett Wilson.
I think Amon-Ra right now is better.
And you said he's better than Waddle.
Keenan is having just such an
You
amazing
gave me
year.
9 for sures.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that 10 spot is like
The thing is, you can't leave Tay out of a top 10.
no shot.
And like that's the most disrespectful
Yeah,
shit
no shot.
ever.
He still got it.
Yo,
He
and
does,
back-to-back weeks, 13 targets. That's really what's been for what has been a pretty up and down year for him. That's at least a great sign.
Tay he's just one of those dudes where you just got to keep. He's
Respect
always
him.
going to have
You just
the
gotta respect
ability.
him.
It's just
Yeah.
about if he gets the production.
Yo, and I'm just the wide receiver position. Honestly, it's comparable to quarterback right now. There's just so many.
There's more great wide
There's-
receivers.
Well, that makes sense because there's 2 that
Yes.
You're starting multiple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna move
What's
on.
Are the Seahawks in trouble, fellas?
Yo,
The Seahawks right now are currently 6-4, but they've lost 2 of the last 3. Are they in danger of missing the playoffs because their next 4 games look like a gauntlet? They have the 49ers twice, the Cowboys, and the Eagles.
they're
That ain't
fucked.
great. They are 2 games up on the last wild card spot because I think we all agree that even though the Niners are only 1 game above them in the West, they'll probably win that division. So you're looking at a wild card spot. The Cowboys have 1 spot basically locked up. So then it's the 2 others. And
No,
right
no.
now they're 2 games above Atlanta, who's
It's not
in
just
8th
Atlanta.
place.
It's Green
but-
Bay, Rams, Atlanta, Tampa, 4-6.
Are you moved by any of those
Oh
teams?
fuck! No, I just wanted to
It's
help
just
you out.
those
Rams?
teams' schedules
Are easier.
are easier. We just went over the Packers schedule. That was a layup. What is that? Is that you?
What is what?
That noise.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
you got a fidget spinner. Nice, bro.
I was so confused. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, my fault. That's unprofessional. I'm here.
Come on, we're doing a damn
I knew,
job
bro. You
here.
got ADHD, man. I
I
understand.
really do.
It's
and
all right.
I get.
Do we
really-
want to go through the rest of season schedule for the Seahawks?
Let's do it.
Yes, who's doing it?
Okay, I'll open it
You
up.
have the damn games up here. I didn't I have to go and Google it, bro. I had to
I
write
got
this.
it. I
note.
got it.
Who's
I got you.
doing
I
it?
got you. I got you.
He wanted the answer. That's why.
Oh.
What record do the Seahawks finish with? They're currently 6-4. Thanksgiving versus the Niners.
Are we all voting this together?
You all
Yes.
vote this together.
So Niners
Listen
win.
now.
Niners.
Yeah.
You can also answer.
I will.
Oh, okay, I'm just.
I'll keep track. 6-5.
6-5. Next game at Dallas.
That's an
L.
L.
Dallas has been playing amazing.
Thursday
football.
night football.
Dallas beats up on mid-tier bad teams.
And honestly, the Seahawks offense has been as inconsistent as it gets. Don't know if Geno's status also.
Yeah, and Kenneth Walker's also hurt.
The
6-6.
Seahawks now 6-6, heading on the road to San Fran.
L.
6-7.
It's a loss.
Next game is versus the Philadelphia Eagles. It is at home.
Stop.
Loss.
Just stop.
In front of the 12th man.
Doesn't matter.
Is this a
6-8.
loss still?
Loss.
So
6-8.
we're talking about the Seahawks being 6-8,
Losing 4 straight.
heading into their last 3 games of the season, which are on the road versus Tennessee.
I think they can.
You want to talk about
should be a
winning
win.
the battle and winning the war? It's the Broncos and these pieces of shit.
What they do?
The last year, just riding on their high horse. Geno Smith's better than Russ.
Last year he
They're a
was.
better
Oh, they
team.
still won the
but
trade.
That's why I say, did they?
Yeah.
How?
They didn't give Russ $230 million.
They made the
and got
playoffs.
multiple
Took
first-round picks.
had Gino and
Lost
beat
in
y'all
round one.
opening,
They just paid Geno Smith
but they beat
$25
y'all
million
opening
for
night
3
too. That was
years.
just tough.
No, last year they won the battle. Like I said, they won the
They
battle.
won the war.
How do we know that?
A war can be on different fronts.
I think the war keeps going on until Russ.
they
is
won
no
World
longer
War
a
One.
Bronco.
You won World War Two,
I think they won the battle. Like I'm saying,
bro. They beat y'all opening night. They made the playoffs. You were one of the worst teams in the league, bro. That's a lot.
they won the battle for sure.
That's more than a battle to me. That's
But wars aren't won in 1 year, bro.
Yeah, you're
It's a
right.
journey.
You're right. You're right.
We're
You're
here.
cooking. Okay.
We're here.
They're currently 7-8 after a win at Tennessee.
We're giving
Next
them the win.
game.
Oh, we just said Tennessee.
100%.
That was
You guys
right.
all think Tennessee wins?
I said Seattle.
Yeah,
No,
Seattle wins.
wins.
Next game versus the Steelers at home.
This is not an easy game.
Steelers.
You're picking the Steelers.
I don't feel great about it. But without Matt Canada, we could be seeing some fun happen.
I think
Jalen
the-
Warren's coming
I'm gonna
on.
pick the Steelers also. I think
Steelers
the
will find a
get
way
it.
to win that game.
So-
I'm not even joking. Steelers will
Ironic.
find a way to win
They're
that one.
7-9. They're cooked.
Last game of the season versus the Cardinals.
That's not an easy game either.
Kyler
not.
Murray can beat any team.
Kyler
I'll
looks
go.
good.
I'll go Seahawks.
That's
though.
probably
I'll
a
go
strong statement. But that being said, he could be put in a position where I'll go Seattle.
Yeah.
But
Must
Arizona
win
could be a
probably.
good
So
game.
8 and 9, they'll be in contention for that 7
Seahawks.
seed.
That's hilarious.
Mickey Mouse.
And they're gonna
has
get
confidence.
stomped out in the first round.
They undoubtedly will because they're going to have to play either
Philly, buddy.
Philly or San Fran.
So you think the Seahawks are missing the playoffs?
What do you think, Mr. Moran?
I don't think they miss the playoffs. I think they beat the Steelers.
I don't think. Okay,
Okay.
that's fair.
Do you
That's
think
a
they could
50-50.
get in with an 8 and 9 record? I'll be honest.
And something tells me, just my gut feeling tells me, I don't know which game it's going to be. Cowboys, one of the games versus the Niners or the Eagles. I lean one of the games versus the Niners or the Cowboys. One of them they will win. I think one of them.
You
they
know
will
which
win.
one you're leaning to. And I wish you would stop
one?
me. You know
The
you think they'll
Cowboys?
beat the
Cowboys,
Eagles.
for sure.
No, I said not the Cowboys. I said the Eagles and the Niners. I think they win one of those games.
Oh, you talk about the Cowboys?
No, the Seahawks.
You see, the Seahawks will beat either the Eagles or the Niners.
No, the Seahawks will beat either the Cowboys or one of the games versus the Niners.
Okay.
That's what I said.
You think so, really?
Yes. I think the Seahawks win one of those games.
I think the Niners.
I think
are
they
gonna
finished
punch it
10
on
and
them
7.
twice. I don't know.
The Niners are losing one of those.
They beat your Cowboys.
I
You're
think
fucked.
one of them, yes.
Not a
I-
chance in hell, Bucko.
This Thursday one, I don't think so because
Seahawks
Geno
are
Smith
frauds.
helps. All right, sure. I think they win one. It's a division game. They win one.
Did they
Like
win
the
one
Rams.
last year?
Hey, bro.
They didn't. They got
Seattle was supposed to beat the Rams. They got fucking slayed both times.
That was a good game. The last one.
It was a good
It
game.
was a good
Yeah,
game.
Jason Myers missed a game-winning field goal.
He's mid.
He's not mid. He actually hit 2 50-yarders in that game,
Well, he blew it.
and then
And he
missed the
blew the
last
big
one.
one.
Just like Will Lutz, but then got a Mickey Mouse call, 12 minutes.
And this past week, he had 5 field goals.
oh yeah, field goal merchant. The Broncos can't even score touchdowns.
Yeah, glad your arguments are all over the place, but you got there eventually. Proud of
Jim O'Brien goes fantasy advice request:
There we go.
you. Okay.
Dalton Kincaid or Jason Ferguson,
Jake Ferguson.
Fantasy
and
reaction?
Cortland Sutton or DK Metcalf. I also have Diggs and Puka.
Hey, these guys work extra overtime.
The thing is, Cortland Sutton's going up against the Browns. Not an ideal matchup, to be honest with you.
I'm assuming he's already starting Diggs and Puka. I would hope. If you're not, start Diggs and Puka. I would be playing Dalton Kincaid. I think he's just a better player than Jake Ferguson.
Yes.
And so we have Sutton or DK Metcalf. DK just had probably his best game of the season last week.
Both 2 weeks in a row, he's been really good.
Yeah, but Sutton has also, been playing really well too. Who are they playing this week? Denver's got
The Browns.
We have the Browns, and
Okay,
Seattle's
Niners.
playing the Niners.
not really interested in either. I would probably lean.
I'm going DK versus the Niners, to be honest with you.
Correct.
The thing with Sutton is, if he doesn't get a touchdown, you're kind of cooked.
Mhm.
I think he can get into the end zone. Obviously, he's been able to do it against a lot of good teams. But I think DK is just a little bit safer.
I'm with you.
Yo, I didn't know your Jets secondary didn't allow it before the game started. I didn't allow a touchdown in like 9 straight games from a receiver.
From receiver, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
fucking nuts when I heard that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the secondary is insane.
A lockup, bro.
And then Khalil Shakir.
Khalil Shakir is awesome.
That shit was
Yeah,
nuts.
He's an awesome.
That
was
throw,
a
that
dog.
throw is insane.
That was a
That throw is
dog.
insane, bro.
That's Josh
I
Allen
thought
for you,
I thought
baby.
Gardner was gonna pick it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That close.
The Jets bench Zach Wilson after they lost
Glad that we're talking about this.
3 straight games.
Really excited.
Now, Dehls, what do you think about the Zach Wilson benching, man?
We always
Please,
gotta have
Dehls,
the Jets talk.
Dehls, explain to us something that we already don't know
What's-
about the
what's-
New York
not
Jets.
much to
Why do you
explain.
think Aaron Rodgers came out and he made some comments? Tell us about those comments.
He did
Dehls.
make some comments. He was on the Pat McAfee show, as he always is on Tuesdays, and said that Zach Wilson got scapegoated. The offense wasn't putting up the production, the touchdowns that needed to be put up in 2023 offense, or really 1960s offense, 97s offense. It's been one of the worst offenses we've ever seen in NFL history. But to be sitting here surprised that Zach Wilson got benched, I'm not.
He's
2
saying
times
that
in
he's
2 years.
scapegoated. What does that mean to you, Riv? Who else gets blamed?
The coach.
Take a guess.
The coach.
Nathaniel Hackett. Whoa.
Hmm.
How fucking nuts is that? Aaron Rodgers taking shots at his own coach? How dare he?
Aaron Rodgers dudes suck too, like Lazard and shit.
Yeah,
All
they're
his
all
dudes
bad.
suck.
How dare Aaron
The-
Rodgers do
Nah,
that?
he's a terrible.
The issue there's 2 things can be true at once. One is I am ecstatic that Aaron Rodgers is on our team. The other is you're pretty much handcuffed by Aaron Rodgers because he wants Nathaniel Hackett, and as much as I think you should move on from him, that's his best friend. You probably can't fire him. He wanted to bring in Alan Lazard, and I think Alan Lazard will have a better season next year. He's a better receiver than what he's doing now. He's not great, but he's playing really, really bad football. Randall Cobb will probably be gone. He had to bring in Tim Boyle, so we never really got even a competent backup quarterback. So the Jets, although we're always screwed from the jump once Aaron Rodgers went down, it kind of compounded because You didn't have a backup quarterback because, number one, he likes Zach Wilson, so he wants Zach Wilson to be the backup, and he likes Tim Boyle, so Tim Boyle was your other quarterback option. He likes Nathaniel Hackett too much, so he has to be your offensive coordinator. And then the weapons you brought in alongside with him, like Lazard and Randall Cobb, who he has familiarity with, have not been performing. Randall Cobb has been inactive basically for the last 2 months. He has not been a good player. He's been irrelevant, literally. So I'm not surprised Zach Wilson got benched. He's the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. I don't think Tim Boyle is going to be much better. I think Trevor Siemian is probably our best option at quarterback. But realistically, this is a lost season for the Jets. It sucks because it's going to be 2 years in a row of having one of the best defenses in football. We have not seen a defense shut down elite quarterbacks like this game after game after game in a long time.
You're right.
So it's a shame that the offense can't even be mediocre. This is the worst unit in football. But again, top 10 draft pick, probably take a tackle, maybe your wide receiver, outside chance at quarterback. I do think it's a long shot. But right now, this Jets season is lost.
This is the worst Jets offense I've seen in my entire life. And it's not an exaggeration. I've seen Jets offenses led by Mark Sanchez. I've seen Jets offenses led by Greg McElroy, Alabama legend. I've seen Jets offenses led by Bryce Petty, a rookie, Geno Smith, Sam Darnold. That was a great season. I've seen a couple games of Mike White where he was overhyped, but at least he gave us something.
They got better.
Version of the offense. The 2023 Jets offense is the worst offense I've seen in my life. This year, we have the worst red zone conversion percentage in NFL history at 26%. Since they started tracking this stuff, we have the third.
You know who's number one?
Number one.
In the red zone? You know number one?
Who's
Just
number one?
guess.
In the league at converting?
Yes.
Oh, the Chargers, right?
Probably the Broncos.
Russell Wilson,
That's
baby.
Nice.
Stop fucking
Nice to see
playing
that
with my boy.
he's bouncing back. And we have the worst third down efficiency at 23% in NFL history since they started tracking this stuff. Basically, for every Jets fan, once we get into third down, we know we're not converting that shit. Once we get into the red zone, we know we're not scoring.
22.9 is embarrassing.
And this is because Zach Wilson, we all know he's a bad quarterback. I'm actually astonished at the fact that he's this bad because other NFL busts, there's an underlying reason why they're bad. They're addicted to drugs or they have a gambling problem or something else. It's something wrong.
Where are we going?
Jamarcus Russell.
He just didn't like the grind.
He openly admitted he was addicted to lean while he was playing with the Raiders. That's why I mentioned that. Ryan Leaf, who was a bust. He had anger issues.
He had addiction problems too.
What's Zach's problem? I think Zach is just bad. I think he's trying to be good. He just can't be a good quarterback. And that's what sucks. It's nothing that he's doing. He's a good person. He's just a bad quarterback.
Bro, the lead was crazy.
And then when we talk about Aaron Rodgers, while Aaron Rodgers should have been our quarterback, he is a big reason why our offense is this bad. Because he brought in all his buddies, Nathaniel Hackett, Randall Cobb, Alan Lazard, Billy Turner, and they've all been dog shit. All those guys. Aaron Rodgers is the worst GM. Our backup quarterback is Tim Boyle. And at this point, this is the worst product I've ever seen. And I've seen bad football. Jets are known for bad offensive football. This is the worst I've ever seen. It's the worst.
This is a depressing topic.
This is such a petty topic.
I'm okay. I'm cool.
Jets fans. That's why I hate having Jets fans over. We gotta talk about the Jets.
Shit sucks.
We haven't talked about the Jets in a minute. A topic at least. We always have little, shit here
question, because obviously we're probably gonna say the same things. Your offense is bad. Your defense is elite. Hate that your defense
the Chargers
has to
defense
suffer.
look good. Made him look elite.
Yeah. What's you said you guys are gonna try to get a tackle in the draft or like a
I think
receiver?
tackle or receivers probably.
Becton, what was the news?
It's not terrible, not IR or anything.
God.
They said he's trying to play Friday, but will likely miss a week or two.
I'll tell you what, I root for Becton more than I probably should. I mean, it really does break my heart.
Yeah, well,
You guys
rookie year was so good.
taking a quarterback late in the draft?
I think like day 3 developmental is valid. I don't know if I would use because we don't have a second round pick that's going to
Are
Rodgers.
you going to talk about the tweet that you
It's
saw?
fucking stupid.
Respect the lefty goat, though.
There's people
Oh,
that
Penix.
want the Jets to draft Michael Penix with the first round
Isn't
pick.
he like 25?
And he has
Yeah,
injuries.
for one, Michael Penix is not a first round pick quarterback. There's only 2 first rounders.
We'll be rooting for him regardless. Just
He'll probably
letting
go
that
in
be
the
known.
That's Caleb Williams and that's Drake May.
Michael Penix.
Bo Nix got a ton of question marks. Michael
I
Penix
think
got
so.
question marks.
He's lefty.
JJ McCarthy got
lefty.
question marks. The only quarterback that I think deserves consideration
Go next.
to be drafted in the second round,
Jaden-
maybe
Oh,
late
excuse me.
first, is Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels, I've been a fan of him
Going
since
crazy.
he was
You're
at
not a Bo Nix
ASU.
guy?
I'm not a Bo Nix
I've
fan.
seen a lot of mocks with Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels,
Quarterbacks are going to go in the first. Like more than
Yeah.
two is going to go.
I think
They're just
Bo
gonna get
Nix
hyped up.
is.
and McCarthy also. All of these guys
People
top
love
10.
McCarthy.
I think Bo Nix is 100% a
Michigan
product
goat.
of the Oregon system. He
Isn't
has
that
some
funny?
good traits to him, but what do you mean? Is
I only say that because Oregon, Herbert being on Oregon
I
kind of fucked
understand,
him.
but Bo Nix, like the things that they're scheming up for him.
Bo
Justin
Nix
Herbert
is good, though. I think Bo Nix is good.
Okay, we will have to see. JJ McCarthy, the team around him is just so dominant that
Amazing.
he's not put in any positions to really come through from adversity. And when he
Did
is,
they play
he
Ohio
does
State
not
this
do
weekend?
much.
Last 2 weeks, though, adversity was no Harbaugh. And we kind of skated against Maryland, but still were able to win the game ultimately.
You're a Michigan fan.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Michael Penix.
Hey, this is a surprise.
He's a Michigan fan.
Michael Penix. I didn't say nothing better. I just
Oh,
want
no,
to
you
ask.
just kind of.
I just had no idea.
Your remark was just
I
like,
had, did you have any idea he was Michigan?
I
fan?
did.
Okay. I didn't know he was Michigan.
You're supposed to be a friend of mine, one of my best friends.
I
You
had
don't know
no
that?
idea.
100% knew he was a
fan.
Michigan fan.
How is that? Come on, bro.
Wait, what the
He's a
fuck?
football guy. He's a football guy.
Yeah, but
you're
why
not a
did-
football guy.
I didn't like that.
Only because you're
I
not
didn't
really
like
a
that at
football
all.
guy. And then college football,
I didn't like that at all, though.
I apologize if you took offense to that. Wasn't
I
my
sure
intention.
did.
So I
Yeah.
apologize.
Okay.
But you understand what I mean?
Nope.
Fucking ignorant.
Could have took that. What?
JJ
What?
I said
McCarthy.
ignorant, bro.
He got
I was
tools,
Said
blinded.
something else.
but I don't know about him.
What is wrong with you?
Oh,
You're
Just said something else.
You're
Okay.
crazy.
Jaden Daniels is my favorite out of the Caleb Drake
He's
made
probably
number
going Heisman.
3. Jaden Daniels is my number 3. But yes, I don't think any other quarterback outside of the top 2 are worthy of taking with the first round pick. If you're the Jets, you're trying to win now. What the hell is the point of taking a first round guy? Like, it just makes no sense.
Right.
Jordan Love situation all over again.
Exactly.
And then
in
you're
the
forced
fucking
into loving
eighth.
the backup quarterback regardless.
Nah,
That's because of the Jets. That's kind of different.
In
I
the
don't-
second round, I'll take Jaden though.
we don't have a second round pick.
Oh yeah, okay, then yeah.
because that's
I
what
would
the-
draft up.
Packers get the second.
What about like JJ? Would you take JJ in like the third or the fourth?
Probably won't be there.
Oh, damn.
Possibility.
JJ could be a first round guy.
For real?
Yeah.
There's a better chance it goes in the first and the third, unless he has some crazy
Shit.
collapse down the stretch. Zach Wilson gets cut end of the season.
I think he does, and
so,
maybe
too.
he finds success in a different situation because I don't
Stop. Enough is
Because
enough.
listen.
Please. Like, please, bro. We're sick of this shit.
Because listen,
He's not good, bro.
even with him getting benched,
Bro, no way.
The
You're
Jets-
still riding for this idiot?
I'm hoping
Whoa,
he finds
idiot.
success.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're still riding for this
Idiot was
terrible
strong.
quarterback?
I think the Jets have ruined so many quarterbacks in my lifetime that
Whoa.
I
I
can't
don't
bring
know
the
if-
blame on one guy.
But Zach Wilson does feel like
You gotta stop.
I don't know if Zach Wilson's the top of the list of Jets ruined. I think Zach Wilson just was never going to be the guy. Was it a perfect situation? No. But I mean, last year we had Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall before he gets injured. Like they tried, they invest in the offensive line. Just basically everybody has gotten hurt on that offensive line. So I don't know. I think even in a great situation, Zach Wilson would have never turned into the quarterback he was propped up to be pre-draft.
Listen, I don't disagree with you totally, but I do think that he was supposed to redshirt this year, and it's just unfortunate that Rodgers got hurt. I'll be honest. It was super unfortunate.
Redshirt year 3 is nuts.
It should have redshirted.
Redshirt year 3 is nuts. Year 1, I think year 1 is really the only time you could look and be like, he was
Red
not
shirt
put in a
after
good
you
situation.
played 2
Trey
years.
Lance is
and you
still
were
redshirting.
ass.
Yeah, he probably played like 3 games.
Who do you think's better?
Trey Lance and Zach is better.
Give me Trey.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know.
No, I'll be
Give
honest
me
though.
the unknown.
Even with the Jets changing quarterback, I don't think we're gonna get much better results, if better results at all. Like our problems are so much about the offensive line. Outside of Garrett, nobody can get open. We can't run the ball. The play calling. I mean, listen, it's a lot of issues that I don't think it's just a Zach thing. That's where I think Aaron Rodgers was coming from with that quote. That's why I didn't like Robert Saleh's response to this question. He was asked about the 2021 pre-draft process. He was asked, what could you have done differently in your evaluation? And he said, you know what? Actually, I've got my thoughts. I've shared them with Joe, but I'm not going to get into it here with you guys.
He did clarify that today and said that him and Joe Douglas are always on the same page, but it was
And
an
he
interesting
lied.
quote.
Lied.
I mean, I do think Saleh and Joe, in that draft said, we're going to take Zach Wilson.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, like, would have Justin Fields been a lot better? Would Trey Lance have been a lot better? Would Mac Jones been a lot better? I don't
Justin
know.
Fields would have been a lot better.
A lot.
Yeah.
He has a huge turnover problem too. He has a sack problem
where's
too.
he
He has
running
But
an
at
extra
least he
problem,
has
too.
an elite trait. Zach has nothing elite about him.
That's true.
Nothing good.
He fucks moms. Dell's just staring into the camera. Oh man.
Oh my god.
Yo, this topic has been so
Yo,
dumb. Oh my god.
that was so left field. Like, oh shit.
I respect your love
a
for
good
this,
laugh.
man.
I don't know if
Pick
we
a
would have
side
been in a
meme.
much better position.
Another one.
I think we
What time is
still. I think we still go after Aaron.
2 minutes,
With all those
18.
guys.
2
No,
hours.
2 hours, 18 minutes,
40 seconds.
35 seconds. We'll go back like 15 years. Just
Holy
somewhere
hell,
over there.
bro.
This dude said that.
Let's talk about an AFC East rival, the Miami Dolphins. Some would say that their defense has changed for the better. Jalen Ramsey's made a big impact. And Drew, we got some people at this table that say Jalen Ramsey's not going to change his defense.
Isn't that funny, Riff?
Who was
I
that
said that
person?
shit?
Isn't that funny, Joel?
Wait, did I say
We're
that
talking
shit?
Isn't that funny that just one player wasn't going to come out of here and change something, right? Because Jalen Ramsey wasn't a top 3 corner in the league
said-
last year, according to PFF.
Did I say I definitively? Or I
No,
was
but
like, I
you
don't
also didn't believe that Jalen Ramsey was still one of the cream of the crop corners. Don't think I forgot.
I think this corner.
Don't think I forgot. But let's talk about how Jalen Ramsey has allowed a 0.0
Raiders?
passer rating
know.
since returning this season.
They played trash.
0.0. Now, shout out to Elite Takes. He formulated this out perfectly for me to read on the podcast, so I want to give him his
Crying.
credit here. Dolphins defense without Jalen Ramsey, 27th in success rate, 20th in EPA per play allowed, 20th in yards allowed per game. Dolphins with Jalen Ramsey. The defense, you told me that he couldn't come and turn around, Mr. River Brown. 6th in success rate, 6th in EPA per play allowed, and 3rd in yards allowed per game. They've been at a different level. They've played against the Kansas City Chiefs, Raiders that we're not really too moved by.
And the
But
Patriots.
of course, they do have some high-level offensive players. Talking about Devontae Adams, who did have a touchdown. Josh Jacobs, who they absolutely shut down. This defense has been great, no doubt about it. And Jalen Ramsey has been at the forefront of it as well. But let's talk about how great their run defense has been. Let's talk about the pressure that they do get on the quarterback, taking away the football. This is and has been a solid defensive unit over the last few games that Jalen Ramsey has been present. And why it allows you to be optimistic about the Dolphins, because what was their biggest concern prior to Jalen Ramsey was the defense. How is this defense going to look after Jalen? People questioned whether or not it was going to be impacted at all. But now that we're starting to see this defense and what it can be, it allows you to feel even more confident with the Dolphins, because we're talking about one of the best offenses in the league. And now we're looking at one of the better defenses in the league that, of course, we do need to see on a more consistent basis.
Question.
But it's obviously a great takeaway.
Your offense has been clicking at the same time as your defense has been. It's been struggling a bit.
Mm-hmm.
When do you think that's because you got some tough games coming up? Not like this week, but
Mm-hmm.
you got some battle tested games. I believe y'all play Baltimore. Dallas is going to be down the road. Buffalo, yeah, down the road. So it's going to be some battle tested. Do you think there's going to be a point where like your offense and your defense will be able to click at the same time?
I think so too, with the idea that the defense can make some timely plays. Of course, we've seen Tua after he's thrown an interception. He's damn near perfect after throwing an INT. But we look at these last couple of weeks against the Raiders. Again, Tua did not have a clean game by any means. You want to talk about average. The statistics could tell you that he had a great game. Watching the game back, definitely had some throws that you want back. But I love the confidence that he's been exuding recently. He just throws the ball wherever he wants to because he feels like he can fit a ball in any window. He is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. The statistics do back that up themselves as well. But a little bit overzealous against the Raiders. Against the Chiefs, a play away from coming back from a horrendous first half. It's a tale of two halves, obviously, in the National Football League. But I think that very quickly we could see this offense and this defense click on the same page. It's just going to be a matter of seeing it, honestly. And I think that the Dolphins will do that.
I think it's great. You know, we have a lot of teams coming up that they're gonna put that defense to the test. We have the Tim Boyle-led Jets offensively. We have the Washington Commanders with turnover machine Sam Howell leading them. We have the Tennessee Titans with Will Levis, who is stuff in his stat sheet, but you watch
Sam
and they're
Howell
not
did
doing
something
much.
that Patrick Mahomes couldn't do.
He picked Will Levis over Brock Purdy.
Yeah, that was bold.
And then they go back and they face the Jets offense again. Who's going to be the quarterback? Tim Boyle, Simeon. Maybe go back to Zach. It doesn't. We don't know this.
Remember when you guys were
Week
throwing
to
pizza
week.
parties about beating the Dolphins last year without Tua?
What about it?
Oh, we smoked y'all.
Right? Remember that?
What about it?
We were
though?
at that game, right?
Oh, but now you know.
We
the-
sure
we
was.
That game was lit.
Yeah,
that game was lit.
That was
close.
That was
So
the
I'm just
Breeze
saying,
spin.
Breeze
that
had the crazy
70-yard
play.
catch. Yeah.
We're
So
measuring
close.
we're measuring
Love
the
that.
Dolphins defense. They statistically top 10 defense, right? But they faced the Patriots, the Chiefs, and the Raiders. Chiefs won.
You got to give him that.
Got to give them that respect, even though you talk a lot of shit about the Chiefs, so maybe you don't got to give them that respect.
He's a Broncos fan.
But
He does. I think he hates the Chiefs more than he loves the Broncos.
Jets, Commanders, Titans, Jets, Commanders, Titans, Jets. They're not getting tested defensively. That doesn't mean that I don't
Cowboys,
think they're talented.
Ravens, Bills to end the
Last
season.
3 games of the season, they will be.
All right, so then there you go. There's your
Drew,
test.
Chiefs or KD?
Oh, KD.
Oh, that's
Not
tough.
even a question.
Okay. Just wanted
Hey,
to know.
KD, I will say it's closer than what it was,
Mhm.
but KD commenting on the podcast, even though
Made it worse?
It was me. No,
Oh, made it better.
it's like, all right, you watch our show. That's cool.
Okay.
Here's the thing: Patrick Mahomes, he probably has watched the podcast too. I say that with the idea that
He's probably seen a clip.
Joel's
facts,
clip.
facts.
got ran.
Definitely seen him doing a
when
lot
he
of this.
won the
for
MVP,
sure.
for
Yeah,
sure.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah,
So they both have
Probably loves
watched.
Joel.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
He knows. Yeah, that's his fan.
Yeah, it's my curly haired twin.
Yeah.
For sure. But KD,
No, undoubtedly.
he ruined what was going to be the greatest resume of all time by joining the 73-win Warriors. It hurts,
I
What a
understand.
shame.
I just had to ask.
but it could get way
They gave
more
your boy
interesting.
Steph 2 rings, so you know what I'm saying. We got to
He did.
them 2 rings.
He did.
Steph Curry's 4-time champion.
Dap him because it's the truth. Don't leave your brother hanging.
Steph not a 4-time champion?
Yeah, I wasn't excited about it. But
Why not?
Because
Bro, but it's okay. You can wear that on your sleeve with pride because
I feel more
Steph
pride in
won
the
his- but that's what I'm saying.
I feel more pride in 2015 and 2022.
Hayden was
What?
22 years old.
You feel more pride in 2015 than 22?
No, 2015 and 22.
Oh no, no, you
Yeah.
should. But I'm
Hayden was
saying,
23 years
It's not
old,
even who I was playing. It felt like he did it. You know what I'm saying?
even though Iguodala was,
I
a big
understand.
reason.
Finals MVP.
We all
they
know that was
voted.
cap. You know that Steph won the votes and they changed the shit.
What?
Yes, bro. Steph won the votes in the beginning and then they went in, changed it, then Iggy ended up winning the votes.
I don't. I gotta read about that.
I'm gonna send you the article. It was
Alright.
actually funny as shit. And they have people like the girl that the lady that Jimmy had a little flash with at the
Rachel
bubble.
Nichols?
Yeah, why is she voting?
She's a media member.
He is a
What are we
media
doing? Let's put some hoopers up there. But who am I?
Who lover? Heat lover? Is
Said a hooper.
Hoopers.
Oh,
No,
I heard
shit.
heat lover. I thought he meant. I thought he said something else. I was like,
But yeah, back to Miami. We got a little bit off topic for sure. Your
Question
defense
was Super Bowl caliber.
well, if their defense
was that the
gets,
question?
was it?
Has Ramsey made the Dolphins? That's what I have written down.
Oh yeah, that is.
I don't
Yeah,
think
the answer's been yes.
I don't think this can be answered yet because like you mentioned, the competition hasn't been great, but it's good
But
to
the
see.
Chiefs.
No, the Chiefs, yeah,
The
but against the
Chiefs.
Patriots, against the Raiders, like it's good that he has shown that he still got it, and that's
Definitely does.
That's our question. Our question was coming back from that injury, will he be able to make that much of an impact? He has been. So now it's like, all right, he'll get battle tested soon. How will this defense look against those offenses if they show an improvement in those games? Then you're talking about the team that could potentially win the Super Bowl because that's all they've been missing. Well, of course, an experience in the playoffs, but they'll get that going in. But you was always missing on that other side of the ball, that defense. Now you have a game changer in Jalen Ramsey. It's going to be interesting to see because you get him back. We just seen the Chiefs lose. Baltimore has lost some good ones. The AFC, like we keep talking about, looks a little muddy. We don't know
Definitely
who could
is.
come out. And now Miami
Tim
being at
Boyle,
their
legacy
healthiest.
run.
Yeah, get what?
What?
Miami getting hot at the right time, getting healthy. That's a good thing to see. So maybe I did say that. I don't know if I did, but you know.
Yeah, this next month, I mean, they're facing really
be
nobody
Miami.
offensively. Got the Jets twice, Tennessee, some really easy matchups. And we mentioned it earlier that Miami is going to be in contention for the #1 seed, and I think at worst they'll probably be a top 3 seed unless we see Buffalo really come alive. If they could, they'll probably have to win out at this rate. But when you have Josh Allen, anything is possible. But if Miami's able to get that top 3 seed, host 2 potential games at home before
In
probably going on
Miami,
the road
too.
in the
It's gonna
AFC
be so
Championship.
lit in Miami.
But Jalen Ramsey's been great. He's forced multiple turnovers, has 3 interceptions on the season already. He's been targeted 16 times. He's only allowed 4 receptions. I think only one of them has been more than 10 yards. A lot of screens, slants, just some quick game action. But the Dolphins, and I feel about this way for the entire end of AFC, is it's really anyone's game. I think you have questions about everyone. For Miami, I think number one is this defense, has it turned it around? I lean yes. The other one is, what is this offense going to look like when it has to go up against elite defenses probably week in and week out once you get to the playoffs? But talk about Kansas City. Can they figure it out offensively? Does Baltimore have enough juice offensively to make a deep run? They just lost Mark Andrews for maybe not the year, but at least into the playoffs. Of course, you have J.K. Dobbins, who went down earlier in the year. So you're running out Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham, and Gus Edwards. That is not a very scary offensive unit. Buffalo, can they finish out drives on offense and not turn the ball over? Jacksonville, outside of one win against Buffalo, what's their signature moment? What's their signature win? And even Buffalo is probably a 50-50 one because that time they weren't playing great football. So when you go down the list of all of these AFC contenders, they all have questions. So we could sit here and kind of nitpick Miami, but we have to nitpick all of these teams. I really think there's 2 teams that are clear tier 1 contenders, and they're both in the NFC with Philly and San Francisco.
Fair analysis right there. Unbiased analysis.
What
It's supposed to be
do?
the most unbiased analysis in the world.
Not even on the same
W.
show.
W.
You kidding me?
Dehls.
Dehls.
Power rankings?
Yeah, let's get into
You
it.
locked in? What's happening with
forget
you?
You've been the
No,
host
this
of
like
the
his
show for
third
3
time
years, bro.
forgetting
Nah, I just want to see how you guys are reacting. All right, let's get into NFL Power Rankings to finish off the show, then get on to Mojo picks for our week, for the week. NFL Power Rankings after week 11. What do you guys got?
All right, number 10, I have the Houston Texans. They've been one of the best, most explosive offenses in football over the last few weeks. They've been awesome. Number 9, Cleveland Browns, the most dominant defense in football. Number 8, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Number 7, Detroit Lions. Number 6, Dallas Cowboys, been one of the hottest teams in football, but we have to see it against some tougher opponents. You've been very vocal about that, and I think that's very accurate, but got to give them credit where credit is due. You play who's on your schedule. Number 5, Miami Dolphins. Number 4, Kansas City Chiefs. Number 3, Baltimore Ravens. Number 2, San Francisco 49ers. And number 1, best team in football, Philadelphia Eagles.
You're not going to like my list, Rip, because I'm leaving off a specific team that we've talked about a lot this episode.
Idiot if you leave out who I
Browns.
think you're going to leave
No
out.
Browns.
At 10, I have the Houston Texans. Been
Okay.
playing great football.
Number
At
9 is
9,
the Bills.
the Buffalo Bills.
This guy's
Um,
predictable.
You guys just told
You've
me.
glazed
You
more
guys,
than me at this
you guys
point.
just told me an hour ago saying
Just keep going,
Buffalo.
keep going.
You never know.
I didn't say that, did I?
These two were talking about it.
Well, this guy is a Buffalo rider, and this guy,
Listen, Josh Allen's
dude,
elite.
you flipped the side.
Josh
Josh
Allen.
Allen,
talking
right.
about?
I'm
I'm
trusting
Buffalo.
Josh Allen Ryder.
Listen, these are
Reword
both
that.
these are both your
Would you
guys.
rather?
I'm trusting
rather?
Josh Allen over the Cleveland Browns with all due respect. to the
Yeah,
Cleveland
I'm not
Browns.
mad at that. But let
Okay.
me hear the rest.
Number 8, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay, you're cooking.
I-
He's cooking.
I
He's cooking. Riv, what's wrong?
I can't take this guy.
He's cooking.
7,
cooking
6, and
shit
5 are
right
all
now.
close to me. I have Cowboys, Dolphins at 6, Lions at 5, and to round out the top 4, same as you, Drew. Chiefs at 4, Ravens at 3, Niners at 2, Eagles
What
at
does
1.
Cleveland have to do? You had me in the top 10 last
They
week.
have to have a
I had
viable
them at
offense.
10, I think. And I,
Cleveland
he
has
ranks
to have
it-
a viable
To
offense.
be
He
fair,
ranks it
he
differently.
also
He
he
ranks it
also had
differently.
the Browns 10 when Deshaun was their known quarterback.
correct. If Deshaun was
And that was
healthy,
coming off one of his most impressive wins as a Brown, probably his most impressive.
I'll be
win.
honest. I'll be honest. You rank it differently, so I forgot that too at the same time. You don't rank it week by week. You more just, do I think this team could be this team?
You think the
So I
Browns are
understand.
better than the Bills?
No, but I think the Browns deserve to be in the top 10 power ranking based on how
I
they
agree
play.
with him.
Are they better than the Jaguars?
They deserve to be ahead of the Jaguars based on how they're playing.
They're both 7-3.
But they've been playing, but they've beaten better teams.
Not all 7-3 teams are created equal. However, I would lean with the Jaguars.
I'm not mad at that. Their last 2-3 wins. Cleveland's 2-3 wins though. Moved the shit out.
You think the Browns are better team than the Texans?
They've played better at the moment.
I think if the Texans played the Browns, the Texans would win.
The Browns can win that game.
Mm.
They just struggled against the Cardinals. The Browns could definitely win that game.
Fair point. But Cardinals with Kyler are not slouches.
But the Cleveland could beat both teams. They could also lose.
Mhm.
So, you know,
My top 10, Cleveland Browns, number 10. I
Respect.
got the Bills
that's
at
all I asked
9.
for.
I have the Jaguars at 8.
No Texans.
The Lions at 7.
Last
I
year,
don't
the
have
Texans were there.
Yes, they were, but the Browns just beat the Steelers. I
Why
think.
the hell you ask me little questions then?
What do you mean?
About the-
I'm just asking you questions.
Oh.
Doesn't mean that.
Well, you
Got nothing to
believe,
do with me.
you believe the same thing I believe.
Yes, I think they're number 10. The Jaguars at 8. I got the Lions at 7. I got the Dolphins at 6. And my top 5 are the Cowboys, Chiefs, Ravens, Niners, and Eagles. I think this Sunday night matchup with the Jaguars and Texans is for this top 10 spot.
Okay.
That game right now, I still got to favor the Jaguars. The Jaguars are 7-3. I got to favor them. But the Texans are right there at 11.
Okay.
My new
What, you got the
mission-
Browns at 6?
Nah,
my
if
new
you got the
mission-
Browns,
Are you keeping Twin out? Keeping the Texans out?
My new mission is to make Dehls become a Brown stand by the end of the year. That's gonna be the
I'm glad
new.
that we pivoted off
that-
me.
that's-
That's that conversation.
That's gonna be the new. That's gonna be the new trend because I cut him off. He was a hater.
Thank God.
Well, you
I don't hate the Browns. I just think the ceiling is so limited.
fuck you.
Okay.
just
debate that.
You know. So at 10, I do got Twin in Houston. At 10, 9, I have Detroit. 8,
Ugh.
I have the Jaguars.
Detroit at 9.
Idiot.
7,
You're a dummy.
Like, I get they almost lost to the Bears.
they're frauds. They're frauds. You're the reason they won, bro. You opened your mouth too early, and the fucking Bears blew it, and it's your fault.
I'm just excited to see Justin Fields play well.
And you know what's great?
They played well.
You know what's great?
play
In the chat when he texted, "Oh, Bears are frauds. Lions are frauds.
They are
Lions
frauds.
are selling."
They-
I stay quiet, and I
What do you-
didn't
what do you mean by
answer.
frauds?
Their defense is fraud. It has been fraudulent for the past.
I don't
3
think
to 4
I don't think it's great.
It's not great.
not great.
And then they almost lost to the Bears. That
They
is
didn't.
that is fraud watch, is
They
it not?
didn't.
Yeah,
They
but
came
it
back
was
from
it
double
was like the
digits in
first
last
bad
You
year.
shouldn't have
Jared
been in
Goff
that
game ever.
position in the first
It's
place.
a division game.
Oh, I ain't trying to hear that shit. I ain't trying to hear it. Jared Goff was throwing ducks. He was
He
bugging
was.
out.
He
there.
threw 3 INTs and
he was
still ended up winning the
tripping.
game.
I know.
He's
It's nuts.
supposed to be. The Bears aren't that good. Listen,
But
fraud
this was
watch.
the first time they were basically 100% healthy.
Fraud watch.
fraud watch. I don't care what you
Are you
say.
telling me the Lions are a first round playoff exit?
Who?
The Lions.
That's not how I do my powering.
Do you think
But
they're
that's a
first
question.
round-
You're calling them
That's a
frauds.
question. Do
They
you-
can be.
They can be.
So
Depending
they're,
on if they
they're
play-
going to win the
okay.
division, most likely, right?
Yeah.
I don't, Minnesota maybe, but probably
They
not.
could be a top 2 seed in the NFC.
They're going to go up against who?
They're gonna lose.
Where
in
do you
Detroit.
have them?
I had them 7.
They're going to play either.
I have them at 8.
Hold on,
What's
do-
the,
I'll-
I have
let
them
me
at
make sure I
9.
have
What's
them
the
at
issue?
7. I don't wanna lie.
5.
That's fair. I have them at 9. What's the issue?
What if they
Not
play the
seven,
Seahawks?
I have them 7.
I would take Lions.
What if they play the Cowboys?
Take Cowboys. I wouldn't think about it too.
Well, yeah, they want to. They highly unlikely play the Cowboys.
No, they might. They might be able to play Cowboys.
Because the Niners and
Cowboys are probably gonna be the 5th seed.
yeah, but
Yeah,
you're going to have the Niners and Eagles probably 1 and 2. 3 is going to.
I saw a picture of it.
Oh, 3 play the 6th though, right?
I saw
No,
it.
one's gonna play. Excuse me.
One has a bye.
One has the bye. 2
2,
would play
7, 3, 6. Yeah,
They're not gonna play the Cowboys.
correct.
Lions would play Minnesota right now. They'll be the 2 seed.
Good game.
Divisional game. Hey,
But
good
Niners
game.
are the 3 right now. So Dallas
I
is
think
the
Detroit
5.
wins that game though.
I think so too.
Okay, so I'm gonna start over.
Yeah.
So I got Twin at 10, Detroit
Texans.
at 9, Jacksonville at 8. I have Cleveland at 7, Dallas at 6, Miami at 5, Baltimore at 4, 3. I got the Niners, 2 Chiefs, 1 Eagles.
God, Chiefs glazing over here.
Sorry, where'd you have the Chiefs?
2.
I don't losing to the Eagles won't really bump you down too much.
Their offense is mid, bro.
So you have the Chiefs over the Niners right now.
I had the Chiefs over the Niners last week.
You can pivot like we all do.
We've had this top 4 is basically consistent all year
very
long.
interchangeable. It's
Yeah.
we know my number 1 has been the same for 9
But I'm
weeks straight.
surprised. Brock Purdy, perfect passer rate and defense looking a little bit better.
I'm at 3. I'm surprised you got the Bills up there. Honest to God.
I'm at 9.
You got them at 9 last week.
I'm at 10 last week.
You having them at 10 after losing to Denver was crazy to me.
I
Denver's elite.
looked at it as like, are they going to turn the ball
Yeah, that's what
over
I'm saying.
5 times
Yeah,
again?
that's
And
fair.
they should have won that game.
Okay, like I said,
They
we
outplayed
look
the
at it
Broncos.
differently. I go on a week by week basis for the power ranking. That's how I look at it. Week by week, you play well, you go up. You play bad, you go down. Some tweaks in it, of course. But like if you lose to a
That's
top
right.
team, I won't drop you too much. But
I know
the
we look at it
Browns
differently.
the Browns winning against Ravens and
Yeah,
the Steelers back-to-back division W's was tough. You know what I'm saying?
They barely scrapped by. the
Why you
fucking
hating? Why we doing? See, I
Steelers.
see what you're doing now. You picked the Steelers. Don't ever forget.
I
that.
did.
Yeah, you fucked up. You should have picked.
They
Cleveland.
both suck.
Hey, they don't. Now Cleveland sucks. You're done.
I know. I'm being
Yeah,
rude.
Fuck you.
No, he's spitting.
They're aggressively mid. I'll be honest.
You're
defense
done.
is
You,
elite.
you can't say a word.
The defense is
You were
elite.
deriding Pittsburgh for 5 straight weeks, and then what
Is
does
Dorian
wait,
Thompson Robinson better than Zach?
They almost won. And they already beat the Browns. They ain't got nothing to prove.
And
against
you know why
Cleveland.
they beat him? Because your bum ass Deshaun Watson guy
Mine.
folded.
You're the Browns guy. You're the,
You're
the
Deshaun
reason
guy.
you rode.
You was meat
That's a
riding.
lie. The
Cap.
reason you
When
rode
we had
for
a,
the
when we had
Browns.
a, when we had a
the reason
topic,
you rode for
Joel,
the
when we had a
Browns.
topic up here talking about is Deshaun back? Who was the main glazer at the table?
When
I have a question.
Drew was saying he's back.
I
That's
did.
what I'm saying.
I did,
Podcast.
but he's out for the season. It is what it is. That being said, Last
I'm a
year,
DTR guy.
you rode with
You
the
are a
Browns.
DTR guy.
All right, look. Do you know why he's not letting me finish?
sorry, go ahead.
It's
My
because
fault,
he
my fault.
knows
Go
what
ahead.
the fuck I'm going to say.
My fault.
Because you rode for the Browns because Deshaun Watson. You didn't anticipate that this defense would be this good.
And then I jumped off the cliff.
So then that is
you
what
kept
it is.
D-riding.
You can't call me a Deshaun Rider when
No, I'm calling you a longer Deshaun Rider. I stopped. You kept going. He back.
He played well against the Ravens, did he not?
Yes.
He wasn't one of the big reasons why they won the game.
For sure.
All right. So
he's also a couple of reasons why we lost.
So what are we going to do? Nothing.
Lost his Pittsburgh game, prime time. Show.
He did.
Painful.
Okay, but he won the.
And DTR won the game against Steelers.
Arguably the most important game for the
DTR
Browns.
won the game against Steelers.
He did.
Thank you.
Won the game.
I'm a DTR guy. Hey, 4-4.
Now you're a DTR guy.
Yeah.
I have to be. What the fuck else I'm gonna be?
Yeah. Really
Just
put you on.
big Cleveland defense because that's the only reason why they're winning.
They eventually got a point up. So a field goal. They got to do something, you know. So
what are you guys doing for Thanksgiving?
like Thursday?
Yeah, just curious.
We're playing football.
That's what I was gonna
Oh,
ask.
you are?
Like
Okay.
9 a.m. type shit. We're gonna
I'm
go play
fucking
football.
down. I'm a receiver though.
Yeah, that's fine.
I only got like 5 hours.
You're gonna be here though, and you're gonna be like in Jersey area.
Are you going to be able to play? You're going to have 3 teeth pulled, bro.
tomorrow?
I don't.
He's talking about
think
going
you-
out.
I don't
tomorrow,
think
so
you're
I don't
under.
know.
I think you're
I've
underselling.
had it before, is why I'm saying I know what's going
How
on.
many?
I've had 5 pulled at one time, and I went out the next day. I'm good.
That's fringe
Trust-
insanity.
I'm a real ass Enna. I'm good, bro. Trust me.
Just say it at that point, man.
I don't,
It
you know,
sounded so bad.
I'm professional. I don't want to do that. But I'm a real ass, you know what I'm saying? So trust me. Like, I got this, bro. Like, I will be there no matter what. I will
All
be
right.
there tomorrow night to drink no matter what.
He's going to be off painkillers,
and
bro.
I'm
He
going to
might
be
die.
painkillers and
that's what we got you
liquor.
here for.
Then the morning, I will be playing football no matter what.
You want me to add you to the group chat?
Why was I not in the first
They
place?
literally texted us 2 minutes ago. That's why I asked.
That's not
All right, add me up.
Joel, are you
Yes.
interested?
What team I'm
I'm
playing on?
interested.
Who's the
I
QB?
don't think we've made teams yet.
I know I'm playing quarterback.
I don't want to be on his team.
Crying.
All right, well, you don't want to be on a winning team.
Fuck him. At this point, you my enemy.
You're going to have to get rid of that mindset when we line up in
You can't line up
January.
with me. Oh, January, yeah. But I'm talking about on the field. You can't line up with me. I'm gonna run go route straight. Nah, yo, you can't.
Week 12 NFL Mojo Fantasy Props. We got
Holy
3
shit, I forgot.
games on Thanksgiving. Thankful for these games. Thankful for Mojo Fantasy. Packers at Lions. What are y'all going with?
I'm going with Jared Goff's under on passing yards, 248.5 passing yards. Green Bay's defense has been sneakily very good. I just don't love Goff in this matchup. First time they matched up, it was a heavy ass kicking that the Lions delivered to the Packers. But in the second half, they really just went into cruise control. I think the Packers defense has been better than what we give them credit. I think that they limit Goff.
It's Thanksgiving. I'm thankful, and I'm thankful for Jordan Love. And I'm thankful for this Jordan Love prop at 226.5 passing yards, which he's going to smash the over because the Lions defense the last 2 weeks, they have given up points. They have given up yards. And Jordan Love, you know what he's coming off of? His best 3 games of his entire career. Give me the Jordan Love over. I'm thankful for J Love, baby.
Well, I am betting on this guy for the first time all year. I'm going to go Amon-Ra over 7.5 receptions. Wow. He is pretty much locked in to get at least 8 to 9 receptions, sometimes even more. Jared Goff likes to force feed him. With due respect, he is one of the best receivers in the league. So that's going to be my lock for this game.
Commanders at Cowboys, NFC East matchup, Mojo Fantasy Player Props. Riv, who are you going with?
Commanders at pick somebody else. I ain't got it.
All right,
Cowboys.
very calmly, Dak Prescott is going to do whatever he wants to this Commanders secondary. We just saw Tommy DeVito light them up. Dak Prescott has been one of the hottest quarterbacks in the league. So if you want to take Dak's over on passing touchdowns of 1.5, or you want to take his over of 257.5 passing yards, you're going to hit.
I also took his passing. Listen, Dak all year, we know, mid teams, bad teams, he will light them up. Him and CD, and last week, CD didn't play that well. He did have a touchdown, but Dak did. And Dak and CD have that connection when they play against these teams. So over on his passing TDs, it's 1.5. Dak is going to hit that pretty easily.
If Dak plays well, another player on the Cowboys should play well, and that's CeeDee Lamb.
No doubt.
And I'm going to over on CeeDee Lamb over 6.5 receptions. I think they force feed him. The Commanders' defense has been Swiss cheese all year long. Give me CeeDee Lamb on the receptions.
Love that.
Last game on Thursday, 49ers at Seattle. This is an NFC West matchup. If the Seahawks win this one, they could catch up in the divisional race. Mojo Fantasy Player Props, who you going with?
I'm going with George Kittle over 48.5 receiving yards against good tight ends. Seattle has not been good. George Kittle these last 3 weeks has been probably the second best tight end in football. Brock Purdy and him have had a connection. It's going to continue this week versus Seattle.
Putting up back-to-back MVP performances against the Bucs, against the Jaguars. Brock Purdy looks like he is in MVP form. I'm going over his passing touchdowns 1.5. He is going to be locked in. He's been locked in. They got Ayuk back. They got Debo back. They've been on a tear.
Another thing I'm thankful for Brock Purdy on Thanksgiving. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. He's been a great quarterback this year, and I'm thankful for this Mojo Fantasy player prop over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Give me big game Brock in this matchup.
Big who, Brock?
Big game.
You have no shame.
I couldn't say the
Call his name, bro. We've said so much shit on this podcast.
Big game Brock, baby.
You specifically have said some crazy things on this.
I've said nothing
episode,
crazy.
Actually,
I've said nothing crazy. About who? Brock?
no, just in general. Today's episode, you said way worse than what you would have said.
I said one thing.
That shit was nuts.
On God. All right, let's lock in.
Now, last game we're going to do. Black Friday game, Dolphins at Jets. Does Tim Boyle move you in this matchup?
Yeah, he moves me to take the under and put the entire crib on it.
I'm going to go over on Tyreek Hill's receptions, 5.5. Tyreek Hill been getting spammed, same way Amon-Ra is one of the best receivers in the league. Look for Tua to look for his guy at any moment.
Sorry.
Here we go.
I'm going to go with my guy. He's been my guy. He will always be my guy. It's Mr. Garrett Wilson. 47.5 receiving yards.
You know who's going to be on him.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
All right, what happens when
mean
the 0.0?
Kohu? That's going to be on him?
Or
Kohu?
Xavier.
Or does Xavier,
Or really-
Xavier and Swiss cheese.
Or when he's number 2, he's not.
He's Swiss
or
cheese.
Jalen Ramsey. Who
He's
told
Swiss
me.
cheese.
Ramsey gonna
Against
shadow?
Garrett Wilson?
Doubt it. Ramsey's going to play the left side of the field.
Give me Garrett Wilson on the receiving yards. We got a new quarterback. It's going to be some life in the building. It's going to be some yards to be had now. Give me the over on Garrett Wilson. And that's going to do it for episode 329 of the Pick a Side podcast. You guys can follow us on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod, on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.